Happy Friday! It is a beautiful Friday. It is a beautiful Friday. Hello. Oh my gosh, how are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing? I have some serious chat lag happening, so if I message you a little on the late side, that's just because I'm having some chat lag. Otherwise, everything's great, everything's fine, everything's awesome, amazing, and wonderful. So good morning, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm full of beans. I'm so happy. It's a beautiful Friday morning. I woke up late. I was so tired this morning. I was like, oh, my alarm went off. I should wake up, have breakfast, and sit up. And then my body was like, no, I'm gonna go right back. I'm gonna go right back to sleep. And then I woke up. It was 9:30. I was like, oh no, I gotta sit up. I gotta eat breakfast. I gotta feed the kitties. I gotta take a shower. I gotta get ready for the day. I've been running around all morning, and I started late. So I'm so sorry I started so late, you guys. I'm sorry I started late. I didn't even get to pick any background music for today. Hold on. Hold on. Let me do the thing. Let me see if I have any background music saved. I know I should have some spooky Halloweeny music saved. I think. Maybe, I think. No, that's not it. No. Give me some of that spooky, give me some of that spooky Halloween lo-fi. I thought I saved one because I saw one. I was like, oh, that's gonna be neat to listen to. There we go. Maybe this will work. Will this work? Will it work? Get a little spook music. My internet's a little slow today, so sorry in advance. There we go. Little spooky lo-fi. A little music to put us in the mood. Is that good enough for you guys? Is it too loud? Is it too low? Is it too... How's my week been so far? My week has been great. I've just been chilling. My table finally came in. I'm so excited. My table finally came in. Sorry, I'm still messing with the sound settings. You guys gotta let me know if the sound sounds okay. I'll be messing with the sound settings a little bit. I'll leave it right where it is right now, and just let me know if it's good enough, okay? My week has been great. My new table finally came in. I have not put it together yet. Because I may need some help taking out my old table because it is quite heavy. So probably over the weekend, I will be building my new table, getting rid of this old one, installing some shelves, some decorative shelves, so I could put my knickknacks on. I have a few pop figures that I keep on my table because they're very, very cute. Some cute little blind box trinkets that I've gotten that I'm gonna probably put up on a shelf. Some cute little shelves that I got. They're like these cute little knickknack shelves where you can put like 1 or 2 items on. You just kind of post them onto the wall and there you go. I got these cute little shelves. They look like they're like shaped like little clouds, and you can put like little knickknacks on them. So I plan on putting those up on my wall after I, clean out this corner of mine where I have my computer table, my old computer table, and put in a new one. And I'm very excited. So that's gonna happen. I ordered some soundproofing foams I could put on my walls to help make the sound quality a little bit better. Hopefully that comes in during the week, and I can have a better sound quality for you guys. Because I know my mic is mid tier. I know my mic is mid, so my sound quality is pretty mid. But I do what I can to get by. Eventually, I will upgrade all my stuff. Definitely still trying to put money away to get a new computer, which will happen eventually, because computers are expensive. Computers are very expensive, so it's gonna take some time to save up a few $1,000s for a good PC with good stuff. I would love to learn how to build my own PC. It would be great. It would be great to learn how to build my own PC so that I can have like good quality, make good quality streams for you guys. I'm not scared of anything but that. Points at anything literally hot. It scares me. I would believe so. Anything that's hot would probably melt you. Would be an absolute threat to you. I see. That'd be awful. Julius, hello, hi. I have a little bit of stream lag. So on my end. So if I message you late, just know that I see your chat message. I see your chat message. I see your chat message, and I'm saying I'm gonna respond to it as soon as I see it. So hello, hi Julius. How are you? How are you doing today? I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that everyone's here today. And we're gonna be looking at some creepypastas, some spooky spaghettis, some what do you call it? I don't know. Spooky spaghettis is the only one that I have on me. I don't have any other pasta, scary pasta puns. Spooky pasta puns. Let's see. Hold on, I'm still getting myself together here, so just give me a few minutes. Everything on my end is still a little funky, so just give me a few minutes and we'll get into the creepypasta reading, because you guys already know. You already know I love creepypastas. You guys know that I love the spooky. Rule 1 of YouTube, anything you post will be forever there, even if you did. That's the rule number. That's rule number 1 of anything on the internet. It'll be there forever. My kitties are they have the zoomies now. They were relaxed all morning, and now they have the zoomies. So if you see me, if I glitch out at any point, just know I'm looking back to make sure my cats haven't broken anything. You know, and you know, destroying my whole house. My whole room. Let me see. Is everything okay over here? Got the creepypasta website up. There seems to be new creepypastas, and I'm excited to read them. If you guys already know, I love my spooky spaghettis. Zombie humper. God dang it! I am not a zombie humper, I'm a zombie hunter! Hunter! Jeez, one slip of the tongue and I'm forever known as a zombie humper. I am a zombie hunter! I will hunt zombies! Jeez! I promise you, I do not hump zombies. I'm not into dead bodies. Of all the things I could be into, I'm not into dead bodies. It's gross. Alright. I refuse to be known as a zombie humper. I will not. No, I am a zombie hunter. I will hunt zombies. Whatever you say. Yeah, I see. That's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. I know it. I know it is. Let's see. This lo-fi slaps, but let's see if I can try to find some spooky atmosphere music. You guys think I can find some spooky atmosphere music for the creepypasta reading? Or do you think this is fine? Personally, I think this is fine. Let's see. See if I can find a little bit more. No, YouTube, I do not want to sign up for premium. Please stop asking me. Let's see. Let's try. Where's my keyboard? Okay. Gosh, I cannot wait for the new. I cannot wait. Cannot wait for to put up my new table. It'll have so much more room. So much more space. I'll be able to see everything, use everything. Because as of right now, let's see, spooky atmosphere music. What, you know, what the heck, right? Let's get some spooky atmosphere going on. The new different Discord routes. Duh! I love what they did for Discord. Oh my god, I was rebooting Discord earlier, and the new, like, you know how the little Discord icon tends to just sit there and load when the screen is loading? Oh my gosh, it's a flaming pumpkin right now, and the logo is a flaming pumpkin right now, and it is so cute, and I love it. I'm like, oh my god, they go hard for the spooky season, and I love it. I love it. I love when people go in hard for their like holidays, because holidays are awesome, especially like Halloween and Christmas and stuff like that. It's fun. Let's see. I'm gonna pause this lo-fi, even though this lo-fi is lovely. Let's see. Let's do some dark ambient horror background music. Let's get the atmosphere going. I know my room isn't atmosphere appropriate, but you know. Whoa. Ooh. You guys hear that? It's spooky. Yes! Let's get the spook on. Let's get that spooky on. Let's go. Yeah, I love the new Discord ringtone. It's actually cute. It's like a spooky little jingly ringtone. It's adorable. Oh. 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 Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We get some spooky ambient music going on. Let's go! You guys can hear it all right? It's not too low. It's not too... Is it too low? Is it not too low? It's just the perfect amount of atmosphere? Is it the perfect amount of atmosphere? I can't tell! I can't tell. I can't tell. Hold on. Wait, that's probably too loud. Too low, too low, too low, too loud, too loud, too low, too low, too loud. I just want it to be just enough. Ooh. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I like. That's what I like. I like the spooky atmosphere music. Alright. Let's get into it, my lovely floofles. Let's get into it. You guys are the best. I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Alright, let's, I already have the Creepypasta. Webpage open, so, let's get into it, y'all. There's some new ones I see that got popped up here, which, you know me, I am a sucker for Creepypastas. So let's go. Let's see. Ooh, okay, here we go. We got one. That looks really good. This one looks really good. You guys are ready for some spooky fun times? You guys ready for spooky fun times? I am. Let's see. This one's about 15 minutes. Let's go. Nights of Fear, written by Tim Sprague. Tim Sprague, I'm reading your story, and I'm giving you all the credit. It's got a rating of 9.5 out of 10. Whew, that's gonna be a good one. Let's go! Alright. I have a cup of tea and some... Actually, where's my water bottle? Let me get my water bottle. Something on the table. Oh my god. So far. Okay. In case you're wondering, this is the metal water bottle, the big boy, the chunky boy, the nice, delicious chunky boy that has all the water, so you guys don't have to yell at me about drinking water or anything like that, because I will already have it. Let's go! And I have a cup of cold tea here for my throat, because lately my throat's been a little sensitive to the dry air, so just that shit help out. Alright, Nights of Fear by Tim Sprague. Let me just... let's go. I usually have to do some explaining when someone finds out that my official title is Head of On-Site Security. Most people assume that the title means that I'm in charge of all the security aspects of the amusement park I'm employed at. That isn't actually the case. The security department is divided into two divisions. The division I'm a head of, On-Site Security, is the one that is out on the park handling issues that come up, which the majority of the time are caused by the park guests. My team takes care of things such as personal belongings being stolen, breaking up arguments or fights, and removing drunk people from the park. The other division, Operations Security, handles the security issues that are more business-related. Verification of validity of park passes, loss prevention in the stores and restaurants, monitoring employee activities, those sort of things. There's surprisingly little overlap between the duties of the two sides of the department. The big exception to this is during the annual Halloween events that are held in the park, specifically those that take place after sundown. This is by far the most difficult time of the year for security. It requires both divisions to be temporarily combined into one to make sure that there's enough coverage and manpower for the issues that inevitably occur. There's a tricky balance between allowing guests to have a good time during the more adult-oriented events and making sure that both they and the park itself are safe while they do so. Before I go any further, I should mention that I'm bound by a large number of non-disclosure agreements. Breaking those would inevitably lead to a number of lawsuits and possibly criminal persecution. And I have a family to think about. Because of this, I can't give the name of the amusement park that I work for or mention any real names. There should be enough here to connect the dots, however. What I can say is that, it's a smaller park than, say, the various Disney and Universal parks, it is large enough that it attracts a high number of visitors each year during the summer season. The number goes down sharply once school starts in the fall. Excuse me. Due to this decline, the park shifts only to being open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, until it shuts down completely for the winter beginning the first week of November. Oh my god, excuse me, I have the sniffles. Oh, that is killing me. Let's see. Give me 1 second. There we go. That way I can see the chat better. Yes. Good. There we go. Starting in September, the park is given a Halloween-themed makeover. That makeover is kept family-friendly during the daylight operation hours. The various cartoon mascots that wander in the park wear costumes, tents are set up that children can trick-or-treat at, and decorations cover pretty much everything. While the water rides that are already closed for the season, the water inside of them are temporarily dyed orange or green. A maze made out of hay bales is constructed near the park's side entrance. It really is a good time for both children and their parents. Just before sundown, the park is closed for an hour. Crews work during this time to remove or modify many of the decorations to make the park look and feel much more sinister. A small army of actors arrive dressed in macabre outfits. New haunted house attractions are prepped for visitors, and menus at the various restaurants and food stops are changed to include less food and far more alcoholic options. This is the park's annual Night of Fear promotion. Again, not the actual name, close enough for you to connect the dots. Open to anyone 18 or older, it's a huge moneymaker that's also a huge pain in the ass for security. The atmosphere is designed to be creepy as well as rather adult-oriented. The actors that are hired for the season roam the park in designated areas called scare zones, where they jump out at unsuspecting guests and try to look threatening instead of ridiculous. Other work inside of attractions that are basically flashier versions of the haunted houses or haunted walks that pop up around Halloween. Here's how all this breaks down with regards to the incident. You have a security team that has been greatly reduced in size because the park is open only 3 days a week, not to mention that one isn't used to working together because it's been cobbled together from 2 different divisions. The event takes place at night, which is far more difficult to monitor than the activities that take place during the day. There is an influx of temporary employees in the form of the scare actors. The park itself has been decorated, often with large and complex displays that can block cameras and create blind spots. Finally, there's alcohol. Lots and lots of alcohol. It's a difficult situation for everyone behind the scenes. The security staff is stretched thin, and there are inevitably incidents in every single night, many of which we don't find out until about the next day. To say that it's an all-hands-on-deck situation is putting it mildly. 9 days ago, we had just passed the 11 o'clock mark during one such night. Normally, I patrol the park with the majority of the other security guards during the night. There's a lot of ground to cover and not many people to do it with. I need to coordinate security while also handling issues personally. It's one of the few things that I enjoy about the Nights of Fear event. I get to be outside in the fresh air instead of seated behind my desk in my stuffy office. I had just returned to the office to swap out a dead walkie-talkie. We typically use cell phones to communicate, but some of the haunted house attractions don't play well with digital signals, so we carry the walkie-talkies as well. I belted on the new unit and turned to go back out the door, but I was stopped when one of the two security guards watching the security camera feeds called me over. He quickly rewound a clip and played it back for me. It was in black and white, which was typical when the cameras switched themselves over to night vision mode. A small group of people walked by a store that I recognized as one of the gift shops in the back half of the park. There didn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary, and I opened my mouth to say so. I closed it again and frowned as a figure walked into view. It was a person dressed in a costume. It was hard to tell from the position of the camera, but he seemed to be wearing a pumpkin-like mask and was dressed in a long black coat. He was holding up either a baseball bat or some kind of long club. I picked up a clipboard that was hanging from a nearby hook and quickly scanned through the contents. It was a complete listing of all the actors and the costumes that had been assigned. Each was themed to a particular area of the park. Zombie costumes outside of the Rave from the Grave haunted house, werewolf costumes for the pack hunt scare zone, and that sort of thing. There was nothing on the list that fit the description of what I was seeing in the video. With an annoyed sigh, I went back out into the park. If it wasn't one of the actors, it was a guest wearing a costume. There were strict rules against that to make sure that everyone knew who was part of the event and who wasn't. During the day, the children were allowed to dress up, but no adults were allowed to wear costumes at any time. Most of the other guards in the park were busy, and the office wasn't far from the place where the camera had recorded the individual. I decided I'd take care of it myself. It shouldn't take long, and from that general area of the park, I could easily make my way over to the heavier traffic areas. I waited for the control room to send a copy of the video over to my phone. If the guest was no longer wearing the mask, I still might be able to track him down based on the clothes he was wearing. As I walked past the entrance to one of the roller coasters, an actor dressed as a deranged clown stepped out from the shrubs. I nodded at him and pointed at the green glow-in-the-dark lanyard around my neck. He returned the nod and went back into the bushes. All of the park staff were wearing the same lanyard. They were a variation of the lanyards that guests would purchase if they didn't want to be jump-scared in the various scare zones throughout the park. Those guests were issued glowing orange ones, and the staff wore green. I followed along the path wrapping around the roller coaster, passing by groups of guests as I went. I looked closely at each person, but I didn't see anyone that matched what I had seen on the camera feed. Roughly 10 minutes after leaving the office, I arrived at my destination. The store wasn't one of the ones that was open for Nights of Fear. The windows were dark, and a large closed sign hung on the front door. I hadn't really expected the costumed guest to still be there, and he wasn't. Still, it was a place to start. My cell phone vibrated as I received the camera feed video. I stepped off the path and into the store doorway so that I was out of the way of the crowd. Taking my phone out of my pocket, I watched the video again. I noticed something that I hadn't the first time. Right before the figure walked out of frame, he turned slightly and walked at an angle that would take him off the main path. I looked in the direction he had gone in. There was a gate in the fence that separated the public from a maintenance area. The gate was closed, but the padlock was lying on the concrete in front of it. I retrieved the lock and examined it closely. It hadn't been unlocked. It had been broken. This was no longer a simple matter of a guest wearing a costume. I pulled the walkie-talkie off my belt and radiated the control room to request backup. One of the most important rules of Night of Fear security was to never go into a potentially dangerous situation alone. It took a while for anyone to answer, much longer than it should have. When someone finally got back to me, I was informed that a brawl had broken out between two groups of college kids on the other side of the park. Everyone was either committed there or was dealing with one of the other smaller issues that was happening. That means that I had to make a choice. Either I continue my search alone, going against both policy and common sense, or I risk losing the trespasser by waiting on the other security guards to become available. Under normal circumstances, I would have gladly opted for the latter instead of the former. The problem was that this wasn't a normal circumstance. The maintenance area that had been broken into went directly under one of the roller coasters. If you were familiar with it, the area was safe enough. If you weren't, however, there were multiple places where the coaster track came down under ground level at the bottom of the large hills. At the speed that they traveled at, the cars could easily injure or kill a person in their path. It was a very good reason that maintenance areas like this one were only to be used when the ride was shut down. Even if the trespasser was able to avoid being struck by the ride, what if he somehow caused damage to the track or obstructed it in some way? That would endanger the riders. I considered things for a moment before swearing in frustration and reading the office to have a roller coaster temporarily stopped. I would have to go in, sweep the area to make sure that no one was still in there, and lock it back down. There was a time limit as well. A lot of inebriated people would be waiting in line, and for the sake of the park employees operating the ride, it was best to make sure that they weren't waiting too long. I waited for a few minutes before I got the confirmation from the office that the ride was stopped and that all the cars were off the track. At the same time, I watched as the green light above the roller coaster station turned red. Nodding to myself, I took up my flashlight and proceeded into the maintenance area. It was oddly quiet. Out in the main areas of the park, the guests and rides kept up a consistent high level of noise. The maintenance area was fenced off, which, combined with the coaster being shut down, muted much of the cacophony of sounds. It was almost a shock when I realized that I could hear my own footsteps. I had only been walking for a minute or two when I noticed another noise. It was the sound of metal scraping on concrete. Because of the way it echoed, it was difficult to pin down where it was coming from. I stopped and listened while I got my bearings. Most of the area under the roller coaster was hard, compact dirt rather than concrete. The only places where the sound could be coming from were around the support struts for the ride, which seemed unlikely, or the large board pad that the maintenance sheds were secured to. There weren't a lot of lights, and the ones that were spaced throughout the maintenance area didn't do much. I was used to walking through the park at night long after the last guests had left. A lot of people would find that unnerving or, I don't know, creepy, but I've always found it to be relaxing. This was different. I grew more and more nervous with each step, and I started to get jumpy around every shadow. I stopped walking and mentally scolded myself for acting like a child before continuing on. The noise stopped as I came to the shed. It was replaced by a new sound, a low and almost inaudible whimpering. I hurried forward. So clearly someone was hurt. I came to a 6-foot-wide gap between two of the sheds and abruptly halted. I couldn't tell what I was looking at. The space was dark, but I could just make out a large figure standing in the far end with his back turned towards me. Remembering the flashlight I was holding, I shined a beam towards him just in time to see the person raise his arms up over his head. The light reflected off something metal in the person's hand as the arm swung down. It was a thick piece of rebar. The pole struck something that I couldn't see around due to the man's bulk. The whimpering abruptly ceased. I pulled my taser from its holster. While security at the park didn't typically carry weapons of any kind, an exception was made during the Nights of Fear event. This was because the crimes that happened during those events tended to be more violent and were sometimes threatening to the guards themselves. I identified myself and ordered the figure to turn around and face me. There was a long pause where nothing happened. I was just about to give the order again when the man slowly did as he had been told. I nearly dropped the taser. The man was tall, nearly 7 feet. He was wearing a long black cloak that was buttoned up to his neck, and he had the pants and boots to match. His hands were gloved, and in his right hand was the rebar pole that I had caught a glimpse of. All of these details I took in peripherally. My gaze was locked on his head. The security feed had made me think that he was wearing a pumpkin mask. This wasn't the case. His head was shaved, and it was painted with orange and black makeup that made it resemble a warped jack-o'-lantern. His eyes, though, they just weren't there. I don't know how to describe it. Where his eyes should have been were two dark voids that the light from the flashlight couldn't penetrate. I stared at him, not really comprehending what I was looking at. His appearance is so striking that it took me a bit to notice the blood dripping from the rebar. I lowered the flashlight slightly so that the beam was focused on the metal. Bits of flesh and hair were stuck to it. I remembered the whimpering that had been silenced and tilted my head to look beyond the man. I could barely make out the remnants of a person on the ground. Their head had been mangled to the point it was barely recognizable as human. The man started to advance toward me. With every step that he took, I took 2 back. I still had the taser pointed at him, but I doubted that it would do any good. Not only was the man massive, but he was also heavily clothed from his neck down. The probes would have a hard time making a good connection. I had to try, though, and it needed to be before he got too close. I put the taser at the center of the mass and fired. The probe sank into his coat in the chest region, and electricity began to flow. The man stopped moving and looked down at them. He brushed at them with his hand like they were flies, and they came free from the coat and clattered to the ground. With that done, he started to come towards me once again, the rebar still clutched in his hand. I hurriedly backed out of the way as he approached, ready to run at any moment, but when he reached the end of the small alley, he simply walked past me without pausing. I stared up at him in confusion as he went by. My walkie-talkie emitted a burst of static. With surprising speed, the man turned, reached out, and pulled it free of my belt. He squeezed his hand and crushed the device flat. The noise ceased. He opened his fingers and let the broken parts fall to the ground before continuing on his way. Taking one last look at him, I hurried down the short path to the body on the ground. To my surprise, the person was still alive. I wouldn't have thought that anyone could have survived the wounds they had suffered, but it's clear that they wouldn't be the case for much longer. The bludgeoning had been so thorough that it wasn't possible to determine things such as gender and age. They were just this lump of blood and flesh. I looked over my shoulder at the man as he turned and disappeared behind one of the sheds. The amount of strength that this horrible act required was unbelievable. I thought back to his eyes, those black holes with nothing in them, and I shuddered. The remains of the person died a few minutes later. There wasn't anything I could do for them except make sure they didn't die alone. Once they were gone, I hurried out of space between the sheds to try to find a killer, but he was no longer there. With my radio broken, I didn't have much of a choice about how to proceed. I rushed back to the office and called the local police. Over the next few hours, my staff and I looked through the security camera footage as closely as humanly possible. There was no sign of the man, and we couldn't find any video of him leaving the maintenance area. When the police searched it for the rest of the night and into the morning, they came up empty-handed. Everyone was at a loss at how he disappeared. Because of what happened, the local police began to patrol with the security staff every night the park was open. That was 9 days ago. A week after the first killing, we caught sight of the man on the security cameras again. This time it was in a different part of the park, just outside one of the haunted house attractions. I took 3 other guards with me and rushed over, but he was gone again by the time we got there. Behind the house, pushed up against the dumpster hidden from view from the guests, was another dead body. Last night was the 3rd killing. The staff watched the cameras and didn't see the man initially, but a mutilated corpse was found at the top of a waterfall in one of the water attractions. We reviewed the tapes and we discovered a clip of less than a second where you could see the man walk behind one of the rocks in the attraction. Tonight, a member of my staff and a police officer managed to catch the man in the act. He had dragged a woman in her early 20s behind a carousel by her hair. They got there just as he was about to stab her with a broken bottle. The officer immediately opened fire with his sidearm, and 2 shots connected to the target. The man staggered before falling onto one knee. The officer put his empty gun back into his holster and took out a pair of handcuffs to arrest him as the security guard waited for backup and to have the raid stopped. When he got close, the man suddenly stood back up and grabbed the officer by the throat. He turned to one side and held up the struggling officer out towards the still spinning carousel. One of the horses came racing by and smashed the side of his head. I could hear the rider screaming all the way from the park entrance. None of this was caught by the cameras. None of this was caught by the cameras. It was relayed to me by the security guard that witnessed it. The man left him alive for reasons that I don't understand. He did, however, pause long enough to jam the remains of the broken bottle into the woman's chest before disappearing once again into the night. Today is Sunday. The park will be closed for the next 4 days. When Friday comes around again, though, I have to believe that there will be more killing. Before I sat down to write this, I put a call to the head of operations to the company that owns the amusement park. I'm still trying to process what he told me. Despite the dangers to the guests, the park won't be canceling the Nights of Fear event. It all comes down to dollars and cents, you see. This is one of the most profitable times of the year for the park, and attendance has actually gone up since the killing started. I don't know if people think this is just a publicity stunt, or if it simply makes it more exciting for them to think that they're in the presence of a real serial killer. Whatever the case, the police won't be shutting it down, either. The event is good for the local economy, not just the park. The people who make the decisions here in town aren't willing to give up their cash cow. I'm going to be ordering my staff to not engage with the face-painted man. So far, he hasn't attacked any of us, although I think he was close to doing so when I used my taser on him. We're going to stay out of his way and hope that the police present at the park will be able to stop him. I'm not willing to needlessly throw away the lives of my people. Someone is stalking Nights of Fear, and there's not a damn thing any of us can do about it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Creepy. Creepy, creepy! Oh my, that's horrifying. That's a horrifying thought. You guys, that's like a horrifying thought. Can you imagine going out to, like, an amusement park event and then, like, a serial killing? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a real thing. Oh man, the fact that it's a real thing that can and probably has happened, it makes it even more scary. Oh my. Oh my. Creepy, creepy. That was a good one. That was a good one. Let's see. Let's see if we can find another one to read. Let's see if we can find another fun one to read. Let's go. Ooh. Here's one. Here's one that popped up on my feed. Trying to make sure that, loads up. What did you guys think of that last story? Oh man, that was creepy. That was a creepy one. That was a creepy, creepy one. Oh, this one's a long one, but I am in it to win it. Let me see how long this one. This is a long one. This is a long. Ooh, this is a long one. Should I read it? Should I read it? It's gonna be long. This is gonna be a long one. I don't know. I don't want to read super long ones. So I'll just make it too short. It feels like it would be too short of a stream if I did. Let's see. Let's try this one. Oh, this one's a short one. Okay, here we go. Let's go. I'm gonna have a sip of tea, and I'll probably blow my nose because I am a little snotty, as I always am because weather. Give me 1 second. Ugh, I have the perpetual sniffles. I'm so sorry. There we go. Let's see. This one's called Don't Answer the Door at 9 p.m. on Halloween. Written by Hayes. Let's go. It's 6 minutes long, so it shouldn't be that long. It was Halloween night, and my parents had just left with my little brother to go to a party at middle school. I didn't go because I was in the 11th grade and just spent the day drowning from essays and tests. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So I didn't go because I was in the 11th grade and I just spent the day drowning from essays and tests. So I wasn't in the mood to spend my night watching kids scream in terror from people in rubber masks and styrofoam skeletons. Once they left, I hopped on the couch and scrolled through the horror channels. I eventually found a movie that seemed interesting. The Not So Good Dead, directed by Sam Raimi. I put the bright orange candy bowl on the porch and started to watch the movie, but I couldn't focus. I was too worried about my family. Halloween was never my favorite holiday. Even trick-or-treating never piqued my interest, not even as a kid. Especially with all the disappearances happening in the city the Halloween before. 5 teenagers and an entire family went missing. 2 weeks later, the police found the body of a missing teenager, if you could even call it a body. They were missing their head, and they were missing their intestines. The police say it was most likely an animal, like a bear or a wolf, that came down from the mountain and caught them on their way home. The other teenagers and missing family has still not been found to this day, but the loved ones of the missing have accepted they are gone and can never come back. As I was stuck in the train of thought, the grandfather clock my dad kept struck 9. I didn't think much about it until I realized that my family should have been back hours ago, and my mind started to assume the worst had happened. I sprung up from the couch and raced to my cell phone, but before I could reach it, I heard a knock on the front door. No kids should have been out at this time, so why was somebody knocking on the door? If it was my dad or mom, they have the house key and they wouldn't need to knock. It must have been some kids ding-dong ditching houses, and that was my thought until there was a second set of knocks. I ignored all of my instincts and decided to call my dad. With the dial of the first 3 numbers, there was a loud bang on the door. I continued to dial until loud, rapid banging started to hit the door. I frantically dialed the rest of the numbers. I pressed call, and what I heard made my blood run cold. I held the phone to my ear. No service. As I removed the phone from my ear, I noticed the banging had stopped. I turned to look at the door and froze. Looking at me from the mail slot of the front door was a glassy white eye. When our eyes locked, the mail slot closed, making a loud clank noise that echoed through the house. I then heard footsteps walk away from the door into the distance, but I could still feel its ominous presence. I thought it was over. Then the power to my house was cut off. My reaction was to kneel and keep quiet. It was probably just seconds, felt like hours in the darkness of the empty house. When I got a hold of my nerves, I slowly and scarcely stood up. Then I collected all of my strength and I left and said, "Who's there?" When I finished the question, footsteps rushed to the door, and they started banging, kicking, even scratching at the door. Whatever it wasn't going to stop until it got to me. That was clear. I started to take a step back, and then let out a loud screeching noise that was a mix of a bat and a deer. No human can make a noise as terrifying as that. The door started to crack and bend from the force of the creature. I didn't know what to do, but I didn't have time to decide. The door broke off at the hinges, falling to the ground, making a loud sound of wood hitting tile. I ran into the kitchen to arm myself. I grabbed a knife from the drying rack, and I turned around to see what had broken down the front door. Nothing. There was nothing there, just a broken door. But that wasn't the part that scared me. What scared me was past the door. There was nothing. No light, no houses, not even the street. It was just a thick fog that swallowed my home. There was a sound from above my head, a scraping sound, claws ripping up the drywall of the ceiling. I didn't need to look up because the creature dropped in front of me. It wasn't human. Its flesh was falling off the bone. Its arms were so long they were touching the floor, and a horrid smell of roadkill filled my nose. As I struggled not to vomit at the sight, I noticed it wasn't looking at me. It was facing up and looking at the freshly made claw marks in the ceiling. It smiling with genuine joy. It then made a sound that still haunts my soul to this day. It was a whining sound, almost like an animal, at the same time not even close. I tried to take a step back, but with the creak of the floorboard, the creature snapped its neck downward to look at me. I was so caught off guard that I fell back. When it hit the ground, the noise stopped, and I looked up. Now I could see its face, its skull wrapped in rotting flesh and dark veins. I vomited from the mixture of the sight and smell. The creature then let out a cackle, almost like a hyena, as if it found enjoyment from seeing me in that state. Once I was done being sick, I dashed the stairs, but before I could make it to the first step, the creature, with what felt like a truck, slapped me in the back of its skinny and rotted hand. I was sent flying to the other side of the kitchen. With no doubt, I knew my arm was broken. I looked to my right and saw the knife, with the creature slowly walking up to me. I grabbed the knife with my non-broken arm. I pointed the knife towards the creature, ready for the end. I closed my eyes, accepting my fate, counting my last breaths. I hear the creature smelling the air. Whatever scent the creature caught, it was making it salivate. The creature then looked towards the cabinet and rushed with animalistic movements. With both hands, the creature ripped the cabinet off its hinges. Cereals and snacks fly across the kitchen, and the creature pulls out an old bag of candy and corn that no one ate. It then starts to walk towards the broken front door. Before the creature makes it to the door, it stops. It looks at the puddle of vomit on the floor and starts playing with it. It then picks up a piece of chocolate from the puddle and looks at it. It says in my own, but demonic voice, "Bad candy," and then rushes out the door into the fog. The moment that creature laughed, the entire house shook. I stumbled to look out the window to see that the fog had dissipated. My legs finally gave out and I collapsed to the floor. While I was fighting to stay awake, I heard the shattering of a window. It was my newly widowed neighbor. I could hear his screams and him begging for his life. Then I heard the slashing and ripping of flesh, along with screams of agony. I then blacked out from exhaustion. I was woken up by the frantic calling of my dad. "Are you okay?" I couldn't see well, but I could make out the tears in my dad's eyes and the silhouette of my mom and brother crying. I then woke up in the hospital with a cast and bandages on my ribs. I still had the screams of my neighbor ringing in my ears. The police ended up asking my family questions. My family chalked it up to a robbery gone wrong. I also said it was a robbery because no one was going to believe me anyway. But I know what happened that night. Afterward, everything seemed to be back to normal, but I was still having nightmares every week. I eventually told them about that night, but they just told me that I was watching too many scary movies. A couple of weeks later, they found my neighbor's body. It was like the missing teenagers, but this time in place of his intestines was candy corn. A new family moved into his house a month later, hopefully they won't have to experience the horror I did on Halloween. I wish I could have helped him more. That was creepy. That was creepy. That was very creepy. And you know what the scariest part is? The scariest part was that monster ended up taking the candy corn. Like, he must truly be a monster to like candy corn. Like, ugh. Although I won't lie, I like candy corn. Not a lot, but I actually like candy corn. But, ugh. I felt like that was uncomfortable. Ugh. Okay, well, that was a thing that happened. I don't know why. That made me 7 types of uncomfortable. Good job, Hayes. That was a great story. That made me 6 types of uncomfortable, and I loved it. Let's see. What other stories can we read? Let's see. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I love me some creepypasta. I do. There's something about creepypastas that just make me feel giddy. There's something about it that just brings out the best storyteller in me, I think. That's scary. Normal candy corn is bussin'? Wasabi. I don't normally judge, but I'm judging just a little bit. I mean, candy corn, I don't know. Candy corn is okay, I guess. It wouldn't be the first candy I would pick. I always go for chocolate. I love me some chocolate. But how are you doing, Wasabi? How are you liking my creepypasta readings? I hope you're enjoying it. So far, we got a couple of bangers, a couple of creepy ones. So far, it's been a lot of fun. Let's see. How long is this one? Oh, this is a long one. I'm trying not to get the long stories this time around because the classic royalty-free creepypasta reading music. Yes! You just noticed it! It's creepy! I wanted a creepy atmosphere today. I wanted creepy atmosphere. I just joined when the corn chat happened. Oh! Well, you missed a couple of really creepy ones. I'm gonna be reading creepypastas. I think on Monday outside of just a normal Monday morning chat, we're gonna look at some spooky videos. Just to get the creepiness going for Halloween. I love Halloween. Halloween's like my favorite holiday. I love Halloween so much. I love Halloween so much. It's my favorite holiday ever. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I'm happy you're here, Wasabi. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? I hope you are doing well, my friend. I hope you are doing well, sweet Floofle. I literally just typed in some dark ambient horror background music on YouTube, and this is what popped up. So, so you know, royalty-free creepypasta reading music, some dark ambiance, some dark ambiance. All right, let's see. This one's interesting. Yeah. Let me see. This one looks interesting. This was also a very long one. I'm trying not to get super long ones. I am super epic awesome poggers fun time. Super fun time. Super awesome fun time. I am doing great. I'm just trying to find some spooky spaghettis to read. There's a lot of new ones that came out fairly recently since the last time we did this, so I'm trying to look through them and see if they are worth reading. I mean, they're all worth reading, but I just want to make sure that they are. Ooh. Oh, here we go. Here's one. This one's like 15 minutes long. This shouldn't be that long. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the spooky vibes. This one is called All the Stars in the Sky by Tim Sprague. Tim Sprague, we just read a story by him, and it was actually kind of scary because it was set in a weird reality of things that could happen that do happen and stuff. So let's see, Tim Sprague, you've impressed me once. Let's see if you can impress me again. When my daughter Violet was born, I didn't have much to offer her. My wife and I both worked, but housing was expensive where we lived, and much of our income went towards renting our cramped 2-bedroom apartment. Owning our own home was still just a dream then. All of the baby clothes and other items we had gotten to prepare for Violet's birth had been purchased second-hand, and I had taken on a second job to make sure that we'd be able to afford formula and other necessities. The first time I did, I held Violet. I'm in my favorite soft squatting position in my office chair. That's as long as you're comfortable. The first time I held Violet, I looked down at the little wrinkled face and I just knew that any struggles in the coming days would be worth it. She was perfect, and she deserved a perfect life. I looked over at my wife, Tara, and smiled. Sunday, I told her, I'm going to make sure this child has all the stars in the sky. When Violet was 5, she caught chickenpox from another child at her preschool. Because of this, she was required to stay home for 2 weeks while the infection ran its course. This was extremely hard on her. She was a very social child, and being apart from her friends for that long quickly began to take its toll. In an effort to raise her spirits, I stopped by a thrift store on the way home from work and purchased a telescope that I had seen a few days earlier. I set it up in her bedroom window and turned off the lights. She stared up into the clear night for hours, fascinated by the heavens and the things that filled it. When she finally went to bed, she snuggled into her pillow and asked me someday she could go to space. I'm sure you will, I said to her. You'll fly right up to space and become the princess of all the stars in the sky. 2 years later, when Violet was lying in the bed in a pediatric cancer ward, I would visit her every day after work and all the days on the weekends. I'd have spent every single moment with her if it had been at all possible, but I had to remain employed to be able to continue to afford our health insurance. Tara never left her side, though, so I was comforted that she was never alone. The cancer was aggressive, and while the doctors tried everything they could, the disease continued to progress towards the inevitable conclusion. There's no preparing for the death of a child. My wife and I did our best to brace ourselves for what we knew was coming, but with each passing day we started to break down more and more. There were no more words of encouragement between us, no more promises that things were going to take a turn for the better. There was only silence as we sat next to Violet's bed, each of us holding one of her small hands as we watched the heart rate monitor. One day, the most terrible day that I've ever known, the lead doctor assigned to Violet's case told us that she had less than 24 hours. Something broke inside of me as he spoke. Something that had been cracking apart the entire time that she had been in the hospital. Knowing that I couldn't go back to her room while I was in such a state, I went to the restroom at the far end of the ward hallway and locked myself inside one of the stalls. The pain and frustration and fear and 1,000 other emotions crashed down on me like a tidal wave, and I wept so hard that I was left gasping for air. After I finally gained control of myself, I took several deep breaths before cleaning myself up with toilet paper. I let the stall splash cold water over my face in the sink. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror as I did so. The face that stared back at me looked old and tired, almost unrecognizable. A voice called my name from the bathroom's entrance. I turned to find a well-groomed man dressed in a suit and tie standing there, a briefcase clutched in both hands. He was older than I was, though it was difficult to determine exactly how much older. He introduced himself as Silas Pembroke. He said that he represented a private scientist that had been working on radical treatments for terminal illness. His employer had heard of Violet's condition, and he believed that she was a perfect candidate for his program. The cost for the treatment would be high, Pembroke warned me, and if Violet were to receive it, I couldn't speak of it to anyone except my wife. It was cutting edge, but also not approved by the government. "Tell me," Pembroke said as he raised his left eyebrow, "what would you give for your daughter to live?" "Anything," I replied immediately. "I'd give all the stars in the sky." That seemed to satisfy him, and he told me that the scientist's assistant would be in touch shortly before he left the restroom. I didn't know exactly what I had agreed to, but it didn't really matter. All that mattered was that there was one last chance for my daughter. There was no price too high for that. I told Tara about my encounter with the odd man, and while she agreed that I had done the right thing, she seemed doubtful that anything would come from it. Normally I would have shared the sentiment. There was something about Pembroke that made me believe that what he offered was legitimate. I knew that there was a very real possibility that I only believed that because I wanted it to be true. But false hope was better than no hope. An hour after the sun had set, a different man entered Violet's room. He was wearing a white lab coat. He had a clipboard tucked under one arm. Despite how he was dressed, however, I could tell immediately that he wasn't a doctor. He greeted Tara and me with a smile and told us that his name was Peter Lewis. He was the assistant to the person that would be performing Violet's procedure. He told us that the scientist wished for his name to remain anonymous, and that one of the conditions of the procedure would be that we would not be allowed to be present for it. Neither would the hospital staff, and that had already been cleared with them. He didn't come right out and say it, but I got the impression that some strings had to be pulled, and the staff agreeing hadn't been voluntary. The subject then turned it to payment. Lewis informed us that, while no monetary compensation was required, one or both of us would be asked to perform a number of tasks to assist with the scientist's research. Those tasks would be assigned to whatever they were needed. When I asked what would happen if we weren't able to do what was asked of us, he bluntly informed me that what was being done to help Violet could easily be reversed. Although we weren't comfortable with that deal, we made it anyway. What choice did we have? Lewis ushered us both out of the room and towards the waiting area. As he did so, the overlight heads in the hallway began to turn off one by one. At first I thought there was a power outage, but after a moment I realized that the backup security lights weren't coming on. All the lights were being shut off deliberately. I asked Lewis to explain what was going on. "It's necessary," said Lewis. He smiled a strange smile, his eyes grew distant, like he was recalling a long-forgotten memory. Monsieur Gingley marche dans les couloirs. I didn't recognize the language that he spoke in. But before I could ask about it, he instructed us to sit in the waiting room, and he would let us know when the procedure was over. Again, not having much of a choice, we did as we were told. The last of the lights on the floor went out, and the only illumination was the dim glow of computer monitors and various pieces of equipment in the hallway. Lewis was gone. I glanced up and noticed that the red light on a nearby security camera was off. I forced myself to look away. Tara and I had made a decision, and we were just going to have to stand by it no matter what. No matter what happens. A door somewhere down the hallway from us slammed shut. Moments later, I heard the sounds of footsteps approaching. Lewis appeared in the waiting room doorway. Your assistance is required earlier than expected, he said, handing me a slip of paper before going back down the hall. It's in French, but I can't read French, so my pronunciation is terrible. So it was like coulios, I don't know. Coulios, I don't know. I can't speak French. Couleurs. It had like a O-I-R-S last sounding. Like C-O-C-O-L. Was it C-O-L? C-O-U-L-O-I-R-S. Colliers. I can't speak French. Okay. Where was I? I like culos better. Hey, who doesn't like a nice culo? Terrible. We're breaking atmosphere already. Jeez, come on, Wasabi, come on. Okay, I had to take a sip of my tea. Hold on. Okay. Your assistance is required earlier than expected, he said, handing me a slip of paper before going back down the hall. Using the light from my cell phone, I examined the folded paper. It was made of parchment, and it was quite a bit thicker. Than a standard piece of parchment. Tara watched silently as I unfolded it. The message inside was written in exquisite calligraphy. Please be so kind as to travel down the morgue and retrieve the lungs of one Miss Caroline Tafford. I read the sentence over and over again. While the message was simple enough to understand, my brain just couldn't seem to process what it was instructed to do. Just the thought of it was enough to make my skin crawl and my blood run cold. You are the wasabi man. You are the wasabi man. You're the wasabi guy. You're the wasabi mans. It was Tara that brought things back into focus. She had always been the practical one in our relationship, and that practicality was on full display now. Rather than concentrating on the tasks detailed in the note, she instead reminded me that mere hours earlier we had agreed to do whatever was required of us to give Violet one last chance to be able to grow up. Unless we were willing to let her go, to let our baby girl die, we needed to stick to that agreement. She took a deep breath before volunteering to be the one to do it. I couldn't let her. Despite my own misgivings, I wasn't about to allow her to take the risk. What the note was asking was just disgusting, yes, but it was also highly illegal. If she got caught trying to steal body parts from a corpse, she would go to jail. It was better if I was the one to do it. She tried to argue, saying that we were in our marriage together and Violet was our child. If anything, it would be safer for us to do it together. We could watch out for each other. I just shook my head and pointed out that if we both got in trouble, there would be no one there for Violet if she survived the procedure. She had no answer to that, and she had to give in. Oh god, excuse me. So stuffy! Goodness. Deciding that I needed to get going before I talked myself out of what needed to be done, I left the waiting room and went into the dark hallway. As I was crossing over to the door leading to the stairwell, I caught a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye. It was gone by the time I turned around towards it. I frowned. The deep shadows made it difficult to be sure, but I could have sworn that I had seen a thin and tall figure, so tall that I was almost touching the ceiling. Nothing else happened while I watched, however, so I dismissed it as my eyes playing tricks on me. I went to the stairwell and started descending the stairs towards the ground level. There was a map to the hospital near the main desk of the lobby, and I hoped that it showed where the morgue was. That was the extent of the plan that I had formed. I had no idea what I was doing. It turned out that I didn't even need to go to the lobby. When I reached the ground floor, there was a floor listing attached to the wall near the door. The morgue was listed as being located on the first sublevel. I continued down the stairs to my destination. The hallway was quiet when I exited the stairwell. I stood still for a long time, straining my ears in an effort to determine if anyone was nearby. There was only silence. It seemed strange that there wasn't anyone around, but then I remembered what time it was. Most of the staff had left for the day, leaving just the people assigned to the night shift. The first door I passed had a sign stating that it was a locker room. The beginning of an idea began to form in my mind. I opened the door slightly and peered in. It looked empty. One last glance over my shoulder, I went inside. I went over to the bank of lockers and started trying to open them one by one. Most of them were locked, and the few that weren't didn't have anything inside. There was a sleeping group on the other side of the room, and I hurried to try those as well. I was almost out of lockers when I found what I was looking for. The one that opened contained a set of scrubs. I quickly changed into them, putting my own clothes into the locker. They were large on me, but not so much that someone would immediately notice. I closed the locker door and made sure that the lock didn't engage. Leaving the locker room, I continued down the hallway until I reached the supply closet. I continued down the hallway until I reached the supply closet. I opened it and rummaged around until I produced a mask, a surgeon cap, gloves, and shoe coverings. I put them all on and shut the closet door. As I did so, I saw the security camera at the end of the hall and froze. Even if I didn't run into anyone during the tasks that had been given to me, there would be footage of me in the sub-level halls. There was no way I'd be able to get away with this. I felt the panic begin to rise in me. That panic subsided slightly when I noticed that the light on the security camera was off, just like the one back up on the third floor had been. I frowned and looked around me. There was another camera above and to my left. It was shut off as well. No chance that this was a coincidence. Still, there wasn't time to think about it. I walked down the hall and followed a series of signs towards the hospital morgue. It didn't pass anyone. I started to feel a bit more confident that I'd be able to do what I needed to without getting caught. I eventually reached the door I was looking for, and after a quick check to make sure that there was no one inside, I entered and slowly closed the door behind me. The room was larger than I was thinking it would be. A line of 4 gurneys were neatly arranged in the center of a gray tiled floor. A series of silver sinks were attached to the wall to my right, and above those were large light boxes that glowed white. 3 metal tables were bolted to the ground. Various pieces of equipment were attached to these tables, and lights hooked to movable arms hung from the ceiling above them. A tray with small medical instruments were positioned next to each one. It was the wall on the far side of the room that held my attention, however. Square cabinets stacked 3 high and 10 across were inserted into the wall. The doors were all closed, each one of them numbered, and there were identification tags posted on a number of them. I had seen enough medical dramas on television to know that this was where the dead bodies were stored. I looked back to the door that I had entered through. This was likely my last chance to turn back. I returned my attention to the cabinet and set my jaw. This wasn't an option. Violet deserved her chance to live. I crossed over to the drawers and took out the note from my pocket to verify the name of the person I was looking for. Caroline Tafford. I slowly examined each of the identification tags in turn, making my way down the wall as I searched for the correct one. When I reached the end, though, I still hadn't found it. I went through the text 2 more times to be sure. There wasn't anyone with either the same name, first or last name as the body I had needed to find. "Can I help you?" a voice said from behind me. I had been so engrossed in my research. I had been so engrossed in my search that I hadn't heard the door opened. Reminding myself that my face was hidden behind the mask, I turned around towards the speaker. A woman in her early to mid-20s was standing in the doorway. She was dressed in the same type of blue scrubs that I was, but she was wearing a lab coat over them. Her blonde hair was tied back into a ponytail. She was regarding me with a curious expression on her face. Thinking fast, I told her I had been sent down to retrieve a blood sample from one of the bodies in storage. I was even more surprised when the woman smiled and nodded. "Let me give you a hand," she said as she walked over towards me. Dr. Gooding's filing and cataloging system can be a bit of a nightmare. "Who are you looking for?" I answered with a name that I had seen on one of the identification tags. As I did so, my eyes were drawn to the name tag that was pinned to the front pocket of her lab coat. I had to restrain myself from reacting. Written in blue letters was the name, Carly Tafford. I hadn't set to retrieve the organs of a dead person. I was there to collect the lungs of someone that was still very much alive. I knew immediately that I couldn't do this. I was being asked to commit murder. That was going way too far. I mentally began to try to work out how to get out of this morgue without raising suspicions. An image of Violet sleeping in her hospital bed with tubes sticking out of her came unbidden into my head. I bit my bottom lip as I watched the woman open one of the doors on the wall. One thought kept repeating itself over and over. Either she died or my little girl did. As she turned her back to me to start to roll out the body on the metal tray, I reached over to one of the instruments on the table and grabbed the scalpel. I quickly closed the distance between us, clamped my hand over her mouth, and pierced her neck with the blade. I pulled hard, and it slid across her throat with surprising ease. She tried to struggle against me, but it was much too late. Blood poured out of the long incision. I closed my eyes and kept my arms wrapped around her until the last of the fight was gone. Her body leaned up against me, and I slowly lowered it down to the ground. She looked up at me in fear and confusion as the light faded from her eyes. I had done it. I had actually killed somebody. I stared down at the woman's body for a long moment before rushing over to a sink, ripping off my mask, and heaving up the contents of my stomach. I knew that wasn't done. Killing her had only been the first step. I used a sprayer attached to the sink to wash my vomit down the drain. Putting the mask back on, I went over to the body and somehow managed to hoist it up onto the nearest table. It wasn't easy. She couldn't have weighed much more than 100 pounds, but trying to move over even that little dead weight was extremely difficult. The next hour was the worst of my life. I had no medical training, and I certainly didn't know anything about harvesting organs. While the tools that were needed to remove the lungs were all there, I didn't know the proper way to use them. The result was a horrifically mutilated body. It made me sick to even think about what I had done to this poor woman that didn't deserve this desecration. I kept expecting the morgue door to open as I worked, but it never did. Apparently the woman had been the only one assigned to the shift. Or at least the only one actively working in this section of the hospital. That's how I forced myself to think of her. The woman. I couldn't afford to refer to her by name, not even in my own thoughts. That only served to remind me that she had been a living person, someone with feelings and desires and a family. It was better to dehumanize her in my mind. It was the only way I managed to get through this grisly task. When I had finally cut the lungs out of the woman's chest, I looked around the room for something to put them in. I spotted a portable cooler in one corner of the room and retrieved it. It was marked for use for carrying organs for transplanting. It would have been funny if I hadn't been so shaken and disgusted at the horrible act I had just performed. I placed the lungs inside. They were surprisingly heavy. There was no way to hide what I had done. Gore was everywhere. I went over to the door and at the last second I stopped myself from opening it. Just like the room, I was covered in blood. If I went in the hallway dressed in those clothes, I was going to leave a trail. I stripped off the scrubs and balled them up, along with the mask, cap, and shoe coverings. With the bundle under one arm and the cooler under the other, I went out to the hallway, barely clothed, and hurried back to the locker room. I quickly used one of the showers to rinse off my body before getting dressed. The entire process had only taken about 5 minutes, but every second that passed was one moment closer to the woman's body would have been discovered. I finished dressing and looked at the ball of clothing sitting on the floor in front of the locker. I didn't know what to do with it. When the police were inevitably called, they would do a thorough search of the hospital. That meant that just throwing the scrubs into the trash wouldn't work. I couldn't think of anywhere to hide them where they wouldn't be discovered. The locker room door opened, and I felt my heart skip a beat. To my surprise, the man from upstairs, Lewis, entered the room. He nodded once as he looked me up and down. "Are the items in the cooler?" he asked. "Yes," I told him, my voice sounding weak in my own ears. "Good. You should head back upstairs to be with your wife and daughter. I'll take care of those." He motioned at the scrubs with his chin. "Leave the cooler here, too." "Violet," he smiled slightly. "She's going to be just fine. The procedure is finished, and it was a complete success. As long as you keep up your end of the bargain, she'll live a long and happy life." Violet did indeed make a full recovery. To this day, there had been no further signs of cancer, and if anything, she's healthier than she's ever been. Her doctors are at a loss to explain it. The term miracle has been thrown around a lot, but Tara and I know better. It wasn't any divine intervention that saved her. It was a dark deal made with a dark devil. And there was never so much as questions about the death of Carly Tarford. During the past 2 years, we received 3 more of the finely written notes on parchment. Each one of them had been hand-delivered to us by Pembroke, the man who first approached me in the restroom. I don't know for sure why it's always him, but from what I've been able to piece together, I think he handles certain type of business for the anonymous scientist. Apparently that includes messenger duty. Each of the tasks has been as badass, if not worse, than the one I had to perform in the hospital. Despite Tara's objections, I have done them all myself. I don't want her hands to be dirty like mine are. I love her too much for that. The worst part about the tasks, the part that really keeps me up at night, is that they're getting easier. Not the acts themselves, but convincing myself to perform them. I'm becoming accustomed to the killing. I'm not enjoying them. I'm not that kind of psychopath. It's just, I don't have that voice in the back of my head acting as my conscience anymore. I've changed in some fundamental way that I can't quite explain. Even if I had any internal crisis about what I'm doing, I would just have to look at Violet going about her life to silence it. Being able to watch her grow up instead of dying scared in that hospital bed makes everything worth it. Some people may say that one child's life isn't worth taking the life of many others. Those people have never faced the certainty of losing their child before. No matter what Violet's mystery benefactor requests of me, I'll do it. I'll be the butcher that he requires me to be. For my daughter, I'll keep killing until the blood stains all the stars in the sky. Woof. 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 That's some daddy dedication there. Holy crap. Oh. Ah. Oh. 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 I don't know why. I felt so uncomfortable. But like in a good way. Like, oh. Ooh, that was good. Oh, man. Holy shit. Man, that was messed up. That was messed up. That was great. What's this dude's name? Tim Sprague. So good. So good. Man, I think that's something great, like psychological horror right there. Just like that kind of question of morality of what you want to do versus like your desire to do it, and like just the way, like doing what you want to do doing what you have to do in order for the person that you love most to survive. And oh man, and then, like, the whole question of morality is, like, it's getting easier to do it. And that's what scares me. Like, it's not like a psychotic thing, but it's like, it's getting easier. And it's like, oh, man, that's just, oh, like that Stars in the Sky throwback. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Man, that's some dedication. Like, as effortless as it is, that you have to admire that kind of dedication to a parent to their child. Like, that's a beautiful thing. The story is not a beautiful thing, but the dedication that that father has for his child and his family, that's a beautiful thing. But God, that was terrifying. That was terrible. Like, terrible in a good way. That was like, oh man, this dude had to do awful things to make sure his daughter lives a happy, healthy life. Oh man, oh, I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. Oh. Let's see. Let's see. If you have any requests to creepypastas, I can try to find them. There's a lot of really good ones out there. A lot of good old school ones too, if you want to hear an old school one. Oh, I am so clogged. My nose. I need to drain my whole head of mucus at some point, because I'm just stuffed up. My nose is just perpetually clogged. It's so annoying. It makes it hard to read because I can't breathe while I'm reading. I can't do any, like, circular breathing while I'm reading so I don't lose my breath. Need more hyperistic blood and some haunted.exe, but other than that, a solid creepypasta. Right! Let's see. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through the list to see what we got. Huh. I'm gonna read this one. Let's see what this one is. Okay, this is a fairly good sized one. Night Walks by Dandel. Night Walks. Let's see. You ready? You ready? Hold on. Okay. Last summer, I started going on walks at night. It was a good way to relieve myself from the stresses of life, most depressing of which were work and trying to be a good parent for my daughter. It was easier during the school year when she would be at kindergarten while I was at work, but this obviously wasn't an option from late June to early September. I couldn't leave her at home alone, and I didn't get off work until 3 p.m. at the earliest. So she needed a daycare, which placed an even higher financial burden on us, which in turn meant I often had to work longer hours. The struggles of making a living as a single parent often discolored how I viewed the world. The innumerable days lost vibrancy, and I found myself falling into a deep depression. I did everything within my power to remain a beacon of security for my daughter, but I knew she could see my despair. Children are quite intuitive when it comes to sensing the emotions of their parents. She is my only comfort, and I ensured our home remained a stable place for her to grow. One night, after I had put her to bed, I sat on the porch for a while and watched the sunset. As the last pink rays disappeared behind the trees, I found myself staring up at the dark blue sky full of faint stars. For the first time in months, some of the color had returned to life. I went inside to check up on my daughter, who was already fast asleep. I quietly slipped out the front door and gently closed it behind me. I figured no harm would come from me taking a short walk. The night air was refreshing, and the Pennsylvanian backroads I lived on were quiet, save for the lively buzzing of insects. There were only a few houses on my street, interspaced among thick stretches of deep forest. At the end of the road, about a mile from my house, was a small rustic church no longer used by any congregation. I walked as far as there, and I did a lap around its empty parking lot before heading home. By the time I was on my porch again, it had been almost an hour. I wanted to stay out later, but I had to work the next morning. As I settled into bed that night, I realized there was something new I loved doing, and the world felt a little brighter. For the remainder of the summer, I continued going on walks to the church and back nightly. It was my one escape from life, where I could just enjoy myself without responsibility. I even began leaving my phone at home, so there would truly be no distractions that would creep into my downtime. I'm sure my neighbors thought I was weird, as a few of them would occasionally drive past me on the dark, narrow road. I would always wave to them and smile as they passed, but I can only imagine how it felt to be driving through a tunnel of trees on a dark night, only to see someone standing on the side of the road. I probably unintentionally scared the shit out of at least someone. Eventually the air began to bite, and the leaves ripened to a crispy brown. I maintained my habitual walks well into the fall, but it soon became too cold to continue going on them. I had to stop for the winter, and once again the color dreams from my world. The two things that kept me going were my daughter, and the knowledge that I would be able to resume my night walks again as soon as the warm weather began to return. After a few months that lasted for an eternity, spring reared itself once again. The grass turned Easter basket green, and small budding leaves peppered the barren wood. My daughter was happy to be able to play outside, and I was grateful to resume the one activity that brought me peace to my life, blissfully unaware that said activity would soon be the catalyst which would tear my life apart. It was early July. I had made it as far as the old church and was surprised to find the parking lot was occupied this time. On the side of the building, where the parking lot ended and the wood line began, was a single nondescript van. It was white and had no windows, save for the driver and passenger side door. It was the exact kind of van one would stereotype as being driven by a balding old man who offered candy to children. I was very unsettled to see this vehicle, but I forced myself not to think of it too much. I told myself somebody was moving something into or out of the old church, and had left the van there overnight. Still, I hastened my lap around the parking lot upon seeing it. It made me eager to start my trek back home. I found myself walking in the middle of the road. Normally I would walk on the furthest left-hand side so any vehicles coming up behind me could pass easily. But that night, something about the air was different. The rustling of the wildlife around me kept changing, between being aggressively heavy and deathly still, and I was afraid to walk too close to the wood. The center of the road made me an easy target for an oncoming motorist. At least nothing could reach out and grab me unexpectedly. When I was about a third of the way back home, I heard something in the forest that I hadn't heard before. It sounded like a distant voice, faintly echoing through the trees, though I couldn't hear it very clearly. My skin chilled and my breath halted. I crept forward slowly. The only thing continuing to propel me onwards was the thought that I had to get home to be truly safe. I soon fully understood what I was hearing. It was a woman's voice, maybe some 100 feet or so back into the wood. She was crying, sobbing. Her voice was strained, and she sounded like she was in agonizing pain. Immediately, a dozen scenarios played in my mind, each one more terrible than the last. I then remembered that I did not have my phone on me. Who, or whatever was in those woods, I had a responsibility to my daughter. I had to ensure my own safety, so I sprinted home as fast as my legs would carry me. It still took me almost 5 minutes to get there. When I got inside, I immediately called 911 and told them there was a woman in the wood near my home. It took police 15 minutes to arrive at my door, and when they did, I told them what had happened. Those damn officers couldn't wrap their heads around why I was out walking to begin with. It took another 20 minutes for them to even drive to where I had heard the voice and shine a light into the woods. Nothing. They told me someone would do a search of the area the next day. I didn't sleep that night. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop thinking about the voice. I also couldn't escape the feeling that the police didn't take my claim seriously. They would, though. Morning came and I dropped my daughter off at daycare and I went to work. I was drowsy, and my performance suffered as a result. By the time I had gone off work, though, I had completely forgotten about the events of the night prior. Said events remained out of my mind until I was driving back home and saw 3 squad cars parked on the side of the road, next to where I heard the voice. An officer was next to one of the vehicles and waved me to pass by. I slowed down and asked what had happened. He was vague, but he said there had been an accident. From how he looked across from me and back, I could tell he was hesitant to speak freely in front of my daughter. I felt my stomach drop, but he kept driving. I knew right away that something terrible had happened. I wouldn't find out until a day later, though, when everyone in our community was talking about it. A body had been found in the woods. A body of a young woman. College age, to be specific. There was deep lacerations all over her. The investigator determined that she had been horribly abused elsewhere and had left to bleed out in the woods alone. It had been a slow, torturous death, and it could have been prevented if someone had only helped her in time. I told the police about the white van I had seen next to the church that night. Of course, nothing ever came of it. Nothing came of the rest of the case either. It went completely cold. I saw the faces of the grieving parents on the news, talking about the incredible person their daughter had been. Every time I saw her face, I was reminded of my own daughter. A terrible fear overwhelmed my life. The fear of knowing she was being raised into a world where something like that could potentially happen to her someday. I started drinking after that, routinely like clockwork, until I would stop thinking and be able to fall asleep. I also stopped taking night walks. For a while, anyway. Why would I want to risk experiencing something like that again? But then the realization set in that, maybe, I could have done something. What if I had conquered my fear and just called back out to her? What if I had my cell phone on me and I was able to call for help right away? Who would say whoever had murdered the first woman wouldn't leave another victim in the woods to die? I started taking my walks again, about 2 months after the incident. I took my time during them, trying to drag them out for as long as possible. By lingering, I figured I was maximizing the possibility of hearing somebody else if they needed help. I always brought my phone with me, as well as a flashlight. My neighbors took notice that I was back to my old patterns again. This time, though, they started treating me with hostility and suspicion. Never mind that I was the one who hurt the young woman and called the police. I was now the weird man who was talking the roads after a local tragedy. They stopped waving to me casually when we passed each other. If we met in public, they would pretend they didn't see me. My daughter even told me that many of the kids she went to school with said I was a freak, and that their parents instructed them to avoid me. By extent, that included her. At night, my walks lasted longer each time. I became obsessed with the thought that maybe, if I stayed out just a little bit longer, I would have the opportunity to help someone else. It reached a tipping point when I had just gotten home for a walk but couldn't escape the feeling that night was different. I had to work the next morning, but how could one day's performance at my job even compare the value of the life of another person? I went on a second walk that night. I heard nothing. Nothing happened. My performance was terrible the next day. My boss even sent me home early. Normally I got off work an hour before my daughter was let off from daycare, but now I had most of the day still ahead of me. I decided to take a nap for a few hours. Figured I set my alarm to be awake before I had to go pick her up. However, in my tired state, I forgot to change my alarm from AM to PM. I was woken up 15 minutes after I was supposed to have been there for her, by the sound of my phone ringing as she called to ask where I was. She wouldn't say anything to me as we drove home. That night, I couldn't sleep after the nap I had. So even though it was counterintuitive, I took another night walk. And so it continued. I kept performing worse and worse each day. My relationship with my daughter is strained. The tiredness only amplified my paranoid sense of responsibility to act. Next time some sick monster dumped another victim in the woods, I'd be there. All the while, my drinking kept increasing to numb the discomfort of the stress. I got fired 3 months ago. The boss brought me back to the office and told me to sit down. I knew what was going to happen before it did. My performance has deteriorated so much that it wasn't profitable to employ me anymore. I didn't find work after that, and due to the circumstances of my firing, I didn't qualify to receive unemployment benefits. I had enough money saved away to last me for a little while, but life quickly burned through it, and I soon had to decide between paying my rent and putting food in my daughter's mouth. The choice was obvious, but it was still devastating to receive the notice of eviction. The worst was yet to come. Homelessness was not an option for a young child. With no relatives for my daughter to live with, child services got involved. I was forced to take a psychological welfare test, with the results of which, along with my failure to hold down a job, led the government to conclude I was unfit to be a parent. I still remember my daughter's screams as the social workers pulled her away from me and told her she had to go away with them. That was 2 days ago. I haven't heard anything about her since. I'm writing this down now from one of the computers at the public library. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I miss my daughter so much, and I wish I could tell her I'm sorry for failing her as a parent. The library's closing soon. I think I'm going to walk up my street all night tonight. It's not like I have anything to wake up for tomorrow. It was alright. I mean, that's okay. That was alright. That was an alright pasta. That was an alright spaghetti. Meh. It was alright. I wish I could have added a little more flavor into it. A little more spookiness. But it was okay. It was alright. Let's see. Let's see if we find a really good one. I need a good one. Let's see. We need a good one. We need a good one. We need something a little more spook. A little more spook. A little more spook. We need some spook. Yeah, I thought it was gonna go a whole other direction of night walks. Ooh, something paranormal happened. No, it's just psychological guilt. How sad. I mean, it is sad, but meh. Let's see. Okay, let me see if I can, let me see if I can put this in a sort this out. Let's go for some of the top-ranked spooky spaghetti. Let's see. Let's see what this website has as their top-ranked stuff. Excuse me. I was hoping for nightwalkers, the goofy little white-like creatures. Right! That's also what I was kind of thinking about. Like, give me something scary. Give me something scary. Okay, I read that one before. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, some of the top-rated ones. Some of the top-rated ones are ones I've already read. But let's see if we can try to find... something... something new. Why don't we? Oh, a classic! Holy crap! Look at that! I found the classic. Let's see if it loads up. How long is it? 47 minutes. 47-minute long! Holy crap! This one is a long boy. Oh, do I dare read it? It's a classic. It's a classic, but do I dare read it? Ooh, what do you think? What do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think I should read it? It's quite long. It's quite a long one. It's quite a long one. It is very long. It's a 47-minute long creepypasta. It has its own table of contents! This whole table of contents. I love it. Speedrun it. It actually has its own table of contents. Hold on, wait. Like, I actually... That's how long it is! Oh my god, it has its own table of contents. Okay. You like that robot from Short Circuit. I don't think I can read that fast. I can't read that fast. Let's see. Well, the creepypasta is been drowned. Let me just say that. It's been drowned. Okay. So let's just get into the creepypasta. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. Let me see it real quick. I'm just skimming through it. See if I can actually read through it. Oh my god. It does have the video footage in it too. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, you know, it's been a very long time since I actually read the Ben Drown creepypasta, and I forgot how long it is. Oh, do I jump into it to end out the video? Do I just go for it? Should I just go for it? Oh, screw it! I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Let's go. Ben Drown creepypasta. Ben Drown part 1, day 4. Yeah, the in-game evidence. They have the videos here on the creepypasta site. It's attached to this creepypasta, and I can't even play. Oh, it's gonna be so long. It's gonna be so long. Okay, can I do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like Wreck-It Ralph would say, I'm gonna wreck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh. Just give me a second to brace myself. Give me a second to brace myself. This is so long. This is so long. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, would I be able to do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it! Okay, let's go! Alright, let me just brace myself for this. This is gonna be... This is gonna be a doozy. Alright, Ben Drown, part 1, day 4. Okay, I need your help with this. This is not a copypasta. This is a long read. But I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. This video game related. Specifically Majora's Mask. And this is the creepiest shit that I've ever had happen to me in my entire life. Oh, before I even get in there, I have to say I am a huge Legend of Zelda fan. I actually, like, breaking immersion, I actually have Legend of Zelda tattoos. Because I am a big Legend of Zelda fan. So for me, this creepypasta is actually pretty near and dear to my heart because I love spooky and I loved especially old school Zelda like Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. Those were my ish. So for me, this is near and dear to my heart. Let's go! Having said that, I recently moved into my dorm room starting as a sophomore in college, and a friend of mine gave me his own Nintendo 64 to play. I was stoked, to say the least, that I could finally play all these old games of my youth that I hadn't touched in at least a decade. His Nintendo 64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. Yeah, for real, copypasta. This is old. Let's go. I feel like an old lady. I remember when I first read this. What? Let's go. I was stoked, to say the least. I could finally play all those old games of my youth that I hadn't touched in at least a decade. His Nintendo 64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. And while beggars can't be choosers, needless to say, it didn't take long until I became bored of beating up level 9 CPUs. That weekend I decided to drive around a few neighborhoods about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up the local garage sales, hoping to score some good deals from ignorant parents. I ended up picking up a copy of Pokemon Stadium, GoldenEye, fuck yeah, with F-Zero, and 2 other controllers for $2. Satisfied. Listen, okay, I gotta say right now, I know I'm breaking atmosphere because this is gonna be a long story. GoldenEye was the shit! GoldenEye was the shit, I don't care what anyone tells me. There will never be another GoldenEye. GoldenEye was the shit. I loved that game. That was my shit. I loved that game. GoldenEye was awesome. Alright. And anyone that says otherwise has no culture or class. Alright, satisfied, I began to drive out of the neighborhood when one last house caught my attention. I still have no idea why it did, There was no cars there, and only one table was set up with random junk on it, but something sort of drew me there. I usually trust my gut on these things, so I got out of the car and was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for lack of a better word, displeasing. It was odd, and if you asked me to tell you why I thought he was displeasing, I couldn't really pinpoint anything. It was just something about him that put me on edge. I can't explain it. All I can tell you is that if it weren't in the middle of the afternoon and there were other people in shouting distance, I would not have even thought of approaching this man. He flashed a crooked smile. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get myself an extra sweater because I am cold. It's actually quite cold today, so I'm gonna go really quickly. Just grab that from one of my many clothes-laden chairs. Cold. Yeah. Hi, Bobby. That's where you were the entire time. It's cold! Oh man, it's chilly today. There's a breeze coming through my window, it's chilly. Alright, now that I have a hoodie on, a proper hoodie, let's continue. Sir, I barely know her. Yeah, but no, my window's open, so there's a bit of a chilly breeze coming through, and I don't feel like closing the window because, I had the windows closed up all last night, so that with the heat on and all that stuff, the house feels a little stuffy. So I can just bear with it for a little bit. Alright, he flashed a crooked smile at me and asked what I was looking for, and I immediately noticed that he must have been blind in one of his eyes. His right eye had that glazed over look about it. I forced myself to look into his left eye instead, trying not to offend, and asked him if he had any old video games. I already wondered how I could politely excuse myself from the situation when he would tell me he had no idea what a video game was. But to my surprise, he said that he had a few ones in an old box. He assured me he'd be back in a jiffy, and turned to head back into the garage. As I watched him hobble away, I couldn't help but notice that what he was selling on the table. Littered across his table were rather peculiar paintings. Various artworks that looked like ink blots that a psychiatrist might show you. Curious, I looked through them. It was obvious why no one was visiting this guy's garage sale. These weren't exactly aesthetically pleasing. As I came to the last one, for some reason it looked almost like Majora's Mask. The same heart-shaped body with little spikes protruding outward. Initially, I just thought that since I was secretly hoping to find that game at these garage sales, some Freudian bullshit was projecting itself into the ink blots. But given the events that happened afterwards, I'm not so sure now. I should have asked the man about it. I wish I would have asked the man about it. After staring at that Majora-shaped blot, I looked up and the old man was suddenly there again, arms raised in front of me, smiling at me. I'll admit I jumped out of reflex and I laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was the standard gray, except that someone had written Majora on it with black permanent marker. I got butterflies in my stomach as I realized what a coincidence this was and asked him how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me I could have it for free, that it used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore. There was something weird about how the man phrased it, but I didn't really pay any attention to it then. I was too caught up in not only finding this game, but getting it for free. I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical since this looked like a pretty shady cartridge and there was no guarantee it would work. But then, the optimist inside of me interjected that maybe it was some kind of beta version or a pirated version of the game, and it was all I needed to be back on Cloud 9. I thanked the man, and the man smiled at me and wished me well, saying, "Goodbye then." At least that's what it sounded like to me. All the way into the car ride home, I had a nagging doubt that the man had said something else. My fears were confirmed when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine. And there was one saved file, simply named Ben. "Goodbye, Ben," he was saying. "Goodbye, Ben." I Felt bad for the man. Obviously a grandparent and obviously going to see now. I, for some other reason or another, reminded him of his grandson, Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at the save file. Eyeballing it, I could tell that he was pretty far in the game. He had almost all the masks and three-quarters remained of the bosses. I noticed that he had used an owl statue to save his game. He was on day 3 and by the Stone Tower Temple, which had hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking that was a shame that he had come so close to beating the game, but he never finished it. I made a new file named Link out of tradition and started a game, ready to relive my childhood. For such a shady-looking game cartridge, I was impressed at how smoothly it ran. Literally just like a retail copy of the game, save for a few minor hiccups here and there, like textures being where they shouldn't be, random flashes of cutscenes at odd intervals, but nothing too bad. However, the only thing that was a little unnerving was that at times the NPCs would call me Link, and other times they would call me Ben. I figured it was just a bug, a fluke in the programming causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out though after a while, and it was around after I had been beaten the Woodfall Temple that I regrettably went into the save file and deleted Ben. I had intended to preserve the file just out of respect of the game's original owner. It's not like I needed 2 files anyway. Hoping that would solve the problem. It did and it didn't. Now the NPCs wouldn't call me anything. Where my name should be, the dialogue there was just a blank space. My save file was still called Linkville. Frustrated, and with homework to do, I put the game down for the day. I started playing the game again last night, getting the lens of truth and working my way towards completing the Snowhead Temple. Now, some of you more hardcore Majora Mask players know about the 4th day glitch. For those who don't, you can Google it. Well, the gist of it is that right as the clock is about to hit 00000000 on the final day, you talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you did it in time right in front of the countdown, if you did it in time right as the countdown disappears, and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you were doing. Decided to do the glitch to try and finish the Snowhead Temple. I happened to get it right on the first try, and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found the astronomer, English is hard, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room right at the end of the game, the trippy boxed-in arena, staring at Skull Kid hovering above me. There was no sound, just him floating in the air above me, and the background music, which was regular for the area, still creepy. Immediately my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried to move around the area, and no matter where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen though, and this kept up for about 60 seconds. I thought the game had bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach for the reset button when a text appeared on screen. You're not sure why, but you apparently had a reservation. I instantly recognized that text. You get that message when you get the room key from Andrew at the Stockpot Inn, but why is it playing here? I refused to entertain the notion that it was almost as if the game was trying to communicate with me. I started navigating the room again, testing to see if there was some sort of trigger that enabled me to interact with something here. Then I realized how stupid I was. To even think that someone could reprogram the game like this was absurd. Sure enough, 15 seconds later, another message appeared on screen, and again, like the first one, it was already a pre-existing phrase. Go to the lair of the temple's boss. Yes, no? I paused for a second, contemplating what I should press, and how the game would react, when I realized that I couldn't select no. Taking a deep breath, I pressed yes, and the screen faded to white, with the words "Dawn of a New Day," with the subtext beneath it. Where I was ported to filled me with the most intense sense of dread and impending fear I had ever experienced. The only way I could describe what I felt here was having this feeling of inexplicable depression on a profound scale. I am not normally a depressed person, but the way I felt here was a feeling I didn't even know existed. It was such a twisted, powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of Clock Town. I walked out of the clock tower as you normally do when you start day 1, only to find that all the inhabitants were gone. Usually with the 4th day glitch, you could still find the guards and the dog that runs around outside the tower. This time they were all gone. What replaced them was the ominous feeling that there was something out there in the same area as me and that was watching me. I had 4 hearts to my name and a hero's bow, but at this point I wasn't even considered. I wasn't even considered for my avatar. That I felt that I personally was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was a song of healing, ripped straight from the game itself, but played in reverse. The music would get louder, building up as if you should do something. Building up so as if you should do. Building up so as if you should expect something to pop out at you, but nothing ever did, and a constant loop was beginning to wear on my mental state. Even now and then I would hear the faint laugh of the happy masked salesman in the background, just quiet enough so that I wasn't sure if I was hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find him. I looked in all 4 zones of Clocktown, only to find nothing. No one. Textures were missing. West Clocktown had me walking on air. The entire area felt broken. Hopelessly broken. As a reverse song of healing repeated for what must have been the 50th time, I just remember standing in the middle of South Clocktown, realizing that I had never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I don't know whether it was the combination of the out-of-place textures and the atmospheres and the haunting melody of the once peaceful and soothing song being butchered and distorted, but I was literally on the verge of tears and had no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something that had gripped me here in this powerful sense of depression was both foreign and crippling. I tried to leave Clocktown, but every time I attempted to zone out, the screen would fade to black and I would just zone into another part of Clocktown. I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape, and I did not want to be here. But every time I played the Song of Time or Song of Soaring, it would only say, "Your notes echo far, but nothing happens." By this point, it was obvious the game didn't want me to leave, but I had no idea why it was keeping me here. I didn't want to go inside the building. I felt that it would be too vulnerable there for whatever I was terrified of. I don't know why, but then I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself in the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head and a screen flashed for a brief moment of the happy masked salesman smiling at me. Not Link. Me with Skull Kid's scream playing in the background, and when the screen returned, I was staring at the Link statue from playing the song Elegy of Emptiness. I screamed as the thing that just stared back at me with that haunting facial expression. I turned around and ran out and back into South Clocktown. And to my horror, the fucking statue followed me in the only way I could compare this to like a weeping angel from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play of the statue appearing behind me. It was like the thing was chasing me, or I don't even want to fucking say it, haunting me. By this point, I was on the verge of hysterics. But not even once did I thought of turning off the console the thought of turning off the console occurred to me. I don't know why I was so wrapped up in it. The terror I felt also real. I tried to shake the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations I had never seen him do before. Like he would flail his arms around a spasm randomly, and the screen would cut to the happy masked salesman smiling again for a brief moment before I was face to face with that fucking statue again. I ended up running into the Swordmaster dojo and ran to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic, I just wanted some kind of assurance that I'm not alone in here. To my dismay, I found no one, but as soon as I turned to leave, the statue cornered me in that cubby in the back. I tried attacking the statue with my sword, but to no avail. Confused and back into a corner, I stared at the statue, waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the happy masked salesman, and Link turned to face my screen, standing upright mirroring the statue, looking at me along with his copy. Literally staring at me. Whatever was left of the fourth wall was completely shattered when I ran out the dojo terrified. Suddenly, the game warped me to an underground tunnel, and the reverse song of healing queued up again. I was giving a brief moment of rest before the statue started appearing behind me again. This time aggressively. I could only take a few steps before it was summoned behind me again. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in South Clocktown. As I ran aimlessly in sheer panic, I suddenly a re-dead screamed, and the scream faded to black as Dawn of a New Day and appeared again. The screen faded and I was standing Hold on a second. Sorry. I needed a second. Creator was texting me. He was like, I'm at the store. What do we need again? And I was like, oh, why are you asking me now? Why are you asking me now? Here we go. The screen faded and I was standing on top of the clock tower with Skull Kid hovering over me again. Silent. I looked up and the moon was back, looming just meters above my head, but the Skull Kid just stared at me hauntingly with that fucking mask. A new song was playing. The Stone Tower Temple theme played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired off a shot at the Skull Kid. And it actually hit him, and he played an animation of him reeling back. I fired again, and on the third arrow, a text box appeared, saying, "That won't do you any good, hee." And I was picked up off the ground, levitated upwards on my back, and then Link screamed as he burst into flames, killing him instantly. I jumped when this happened. I never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't have any moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body still burning, the Skull Kid laughed and the screen faded to black, only to have me reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened. Link's body was lifted off the ground by some unknown force, and he immediately burst into flames, again killing him. This time, during the death screen, the faint sounds of the reverse song of healing could be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed there was no music playing this time, that all there was an eerie silence. I remember that in the original encounter with the Skull Kid, you're supposed to use the ocarina to either travel back in time or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded to flames and he died. As the death screen neared its end, it began to chug, as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the screen came to, it was the same scene as the first 3 times, except this time Link was lying on the ground, dead in a position I had never seen in the game before, his head tilted towards the camera, with the Skull Kid floating above him. I couldn't move. I couldn't press any buttons. All I could do was just stare at Link's dead body. After around 30 seconds of this, the game simply fades out with the message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking you out to the title screen. Upon getting back to the title screen and staring again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead of Link, it was replaced with Your Turn. Your Turn had 3 hearts, no masks, and no items. I select Your Turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the clock tower rooftop scene of my Link dead, and the Skull Kid hovering over, with the Skull Kid laughing, looping again and again. I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game booted back up, there was one more save file added below Your Turn, entitled Ben. Ben's save file is right back where it was before I deleted it, in the Stone Tower Temple with the moon almost crashing. I turned the game off at that point. I'm not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up, even for me. I haven't played it at all today. Hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse song of healing music in my head, and just remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring Clocktown. I drove back to the old man's house today, asked him some questions with a buddy of mine. No way I was going there alone. Only to find that there was a for sale sign in the front yard, and when I rang the door, no one was home. So now I'm back here writing down the rest of my thoughts and recording what happened. Sorry if some of this has grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running in on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game, even more so now that I have relived it a second time writing this all down. But I feel like there's still more to it than meets the eye, and that there's something calling to me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know what, and if I could get a hold of the old man, that I would be able to find some answers. I need another day or so to recuperate before tackling this game again. It's already taken a toll on my sanity, I feel like. But next time I do this, I'm going to be recording my footage all the way through. The idea to record only came to me towards the end, so you see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and an elegy statue. But it's on YouTube here. I'm going to stay in this thread for a little while longer before I fall asleep, to answer any questions you guys may have, or hopefully listen to your ideas or theories to help me shed some light into this, or maybe things I should try too. I think I'm gonna try playing Ben's file tomorrow and see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in paranormal shit, but this is just a little fucked up. And maybe this Ben guy is really just a good guy, a good hacker programmer. I don't want to think of the alternatives if he isn't. That's the end of the copy paste. And I'm hoping that maybe this is some kind of running gag to the developers that had other people gone. Is this some kind of running gag the developers had, and that other people may have gotten gagged or hacked copies of the game like this? This really just scares me. Ben Drown Part 2. Ben. There are, you guys, there is a video. There is a video here. Like an actual clickable YouTube video, and I don't know if I want to show it to you guys. Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I just do it? Wasabi, what do you think? Should we do it? Do you want to see the videos? do you want to see the video? I have no problem, but do you want to see? Cause this is a clickable link that I have here. It's kind of fluffed. Do you want to see? Cause I don't know if I want to. I remember. Okay, you remember the video. So you want to see? Okay. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I need to. Full immersion? Alright, I got you. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second to set it up. I have my table. Give me 1 second to set it up. Hold on. Let me shift myself. Oh, I don't know. I want to feel like I'm in bed, John. Okay, give me a moment. Okay, okay. I'm gonna shrink myself down to the smallest I can be. Let me see. Where is... Sorry, I'm looking for my browser. Ah, here we go. Okay. Which one am I... No. Didn't try Creepypasta. There it is! There you go. Oh, wait, hold on. Unlock. There she is. There it is. Let me fix this up. Hold on. Let me do some fixing up here so we can see. Oh crap! This is awful. I love it. Hold on. Hello. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a little. Hold on. Transform. Get the screen. Oh, okay. Well. Okay, hold on. I'm going to, cause the video is right here. The video is right here. So let's have some fun with that. Hold on. Just gonna. Oh boy. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna pause the spooky ambience music for this. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, okay. Oh, fun times. Oh, I don't know if you can hear it. Hold on. Oh, nostalgic. Oh, this is too loud. Hold on. Oh, holy crap. This is one of the things I like about this. Oh, don't corner me, bro. Oh. One thing I really love about this is that someone took the time to emulate a Zelda, the Majora's Mask Zelda, and then modify it to be this creepy creepypasta. Like, I respect that. Like, I respect that someone took the time to do this. It's really cool. And it's creepy as all get out. Oh. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it. Yeah, that's that music. That's that threat music. That's that music. That's that I'm in danger music. Oh. Yeah, I'm in danger. Yeah, it's impressive. Look at this, so impressive. Actually, let me. Oh, my pumpkins are floating. That's fine. I just wanted to move my table out of the way so we can see. I'm gonna sit here with my pumpkins. Oh. I'm just gonna sit here with my pumpkins. I hope you don't mind. Oh, look at this. Oh, it was so good that people thought it was real. For real! Oh God! That scream was a little too loud. Oh my! That's just so creepy. That's just so creepy. I love it. I love it. Oh! Rowan! Hi, Rowan! Welcome! Thank you for being here! Hello, Rowan! Hi! Long time no see, friend. How are you? We have been revisiting old creepypastas. Oh, damn! Brutal! Oh. Oh. No, Blink is dead. Yep, there he is. He ain't coming back. Oh, man. Gosh, just like reading about it is creepy, but seeing it happen, that's a whole other visceral kind of fear. Guessing some of my new rings. You got new rings! Awesome! I bet they look great on you. I bet they look amazing on you. Oh, man. You've met with a terrible fate, have you? Oh, excuse you? Beg pardon? Oh. Oh. Oh, there it is. Your turn. Oh, gosh. No, Blink is dead. Yeah, there ain't no coming back from that homeboy. Oh, so unnerving. Oh, and look, there's Ben! There's Ben! Oh, no. God, that's terrifying. Oh, I want to continue reading. Hold on, because there's a part. It's you can see right down there. There's a part 2. Oh my gosh. Oh, I had to scoot over so you guys could see it. Hold on, let me just scooch my butt back right over here. Oh man. Oh, if my game did this to me, I would simply soak it in mouthwash. Why specifically mouthwash? Why mouthwash? Oh, these binge drawn videos. They're so scary. This is scary. Oh wait, I'm gonna scroll down and see if spoilers. Oh my god, yes. Okay, so each part they post a video, so we get to watch a video after each reading part. Okay. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue, guys. I'm gonna continue. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go. I'm going to post part 2. I'm going to do part 2, Ben. Oh god, this is disturbing. Oh, please don't look at me. I got the Ben Drown Creepypasta link over here, looking at me. The elegy of emptiness link face looking at me. Don't look at me. Even in the normal game, even in the normal game, the elegy of emptiness face on Link's statue, uncomfortable. Always made me uncomfortable. It looked too real, but at the same time, it was very uncanny valley. Just, it looked real, but there was something wrong about it. Always something wrong about it. Let's go. I'm going to post what happened and link the video footage, but last night everything got too real for me. I think I'm done messing around with this. I passed out pretty much immediately after making that thread. But last night, the elegy of emptiness statue, I had a dream about it. I dreamed that it was following me in my dreams, that I would be minding my own business when I feel my neck hair stand up on end. Personally, honestly, I don't really feel creepypastas creepy, probably because I loved them since I was like 8. I love creepypastas. They're not scary, but there's definitely something unsettling about, like, this story. Especially if you grew up like I did with the old N64, old school Legend of Zelda. For me, that's it's something visceral and about it that's just like, oh, this is something I'm familiar with and just kind of. I think Ben Drown was the only one that scared me when I was young. I liked the Ben Drown one. It was great. Only because of the footage. Yeah, the footage really sells the immersion of it. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading. But last night, the elegy of emptiness statue, I had a dream about it. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream. But I would be minding my own business when I'd feel my neck hair stand up on end. I would turn around that horrible, lifeless statue would be staring at me with those empty eyes right at me, mere inches away. In my dream, I remember it calling it Ben, and never before had I had a dream that I could remember so vividly. But the important thing is that I got some sleep, I guess. Today, putting off playing the game as long as I could, I drove back up to the neighborhood to see if the old man came back. As I expected, the car was still gone and no one was home. As I was walking back to my car, the man next door mowing the grass killed the power to his lawnmower and asked me if I was looking for someone. I told him that I was looking for the old man that lived here, to which he told me what I already knew. He was moving. Trying a different avenue, I asked if the old man had any family or relatives I could talk to. I discovered that this old man had never been married, nor did he have any children or grandchildren through adoption. Starting to become worried, I asked one final question. One that I should have asked from the beginning. Who was Ben? The man's expression turned grim, and I learned that 4 doors down, around 8 years ago on April 23rd, the man informed me that it was the same day as his anniversary. That's how he knew the specific dates. That there was an accident with a young boy named Ben in the neighborhood. Shortly after his parents moved, and despite any further attempts to talk to the man to get more information, he wouldn't divulge anything else. Oh yeah, the Jeff the Killer picture was going around, which wasn't the original Jeff the Killer picture just a modified version of, was a heavily edited version of, Overly Obsessed Girlfriend? Wasn't that what it was? Remind me if I was wrong. Wasn't that what it was? That was great. And Smile Dog. Oh, I love Smile Dog too. That was a good one too. Very creepy. Alright, let's get back into it. I went back and I started playing again. I loaded up the game and immediately I jumped at the little title screen where the mask flies by. The sound that played was not the normal whoosh sound, but something much more higher pitched. I pressed start, bracing for the worst, but just like 2 nights ago, the files Your Turn and Ben were displayed. Should be told, I was looking at the Ben file earlier. It seemed to fluctuate between displaying the owl save and not. I brought up the Ben file. Oh, I turned off my creepy atmosphere music. Hold on. Let's get back into that. Haha, yes. The creepy atmosphere music. Let's really make this spooky. I brought up the bed file, hesitated for a moment, and noticed that the stats were not like the same as they originally were 2 days ago. It seems like he had already completed the Snow Tower Temple at this time. Summoning my courage, I selected it. Immediately I was thrust into complete chaos. Sure enough, I was outside the Stone Tower Temple, but that was about all that I expected. The zone itself wasn't called Stone Tower Temple, but rather Stone. And immediately a dialogue box of complete gibberish that I couldn't make out greeted me. Link's body was distorted. His back was cocked violently to the side, where his posture was permanently disfigured. Link's expression was dull, almost monotonous, and he had an expression on his face that I didn't recognize before. It was a blank look, as if he was dead. And Link stood there, his body spasming irregularly back and forth. I examined what had become of my avatar and noticed that I had a C button item that I had never seen before. Some kind of note, but pressing it did nothing. Sounds played back and forth that I didn't recognize from the game, almost demonic in nature. And there was some kind of high-pitched yip, or some kind of laugh, or something playing in the background. I had all of 2 minutes to take in the environment before another one of those fucking Elegy of Emptiness statues was summoned, and immediately after I was cut into the Dawn of a New Day screen, except this time without the little subtext. I was a Deku scrub in Clocktown. This scene would normally play after the first time you traveled back in time. Tattle would say, What just happened? It's as if everything has. But instead of saying started over, she finished her remark in broken text as the laugh of the happy masked salesman played in the background. I was put back in control of my character, but from a fucked up camera angle, I was looking from behind the door to the clock tower, watching my avatar run down around as a Deku scrub. Seeing as how I really had no place to go because I couldn't see anything, I begrudgingly went inside the door. There, I was greeted by the happy masked salesman who simply told me, You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Before the screen whited out. I was in terminal field as a human again. I might as well not have been playing the same game anymore. I was being warped around here and there with no signs of a day clock or anything. It took a moment to get my bearings as I looked around the field, and immediately I could tell that this was not normal. There were no enemies, and a twisted version of the Happy Mask Salesman theme was playing. I decided to run towards Woodfall before I noticed a gathering of 3 figures off to the side, one of them being Epona. As I approached them, to my horror, I saw the Happy Mask Salesman, the Skull Kid, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue just standing there. I figured maybe they were bugged out, but by now I told myself that I should know better. Nevertheless, I approached them carefully, and I found that the Skull Kid was playing some kind of idle animation on loop. Same with Epona, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue was doing what it has been all along, just standing there eerily. It was the Happy Mask Salesman that scared me more profoundly than the other 2. He too was idle, wearing that shit-eating grin, but wherever I moved, his head slowly turned and followed me. I had not engaged in any dialogue with him, nor was I in combat with him, yet his head still continued to follow my movements. Reminded of my first encounter with the Skull Kid on top of the clock tower, I pulled out my ocarina, to which the game played the ding sound when you're supposed to play your ocarina, and I tried a song I hadn't played yet. The Happy Mask Salesman's own song, and the song that had been playing on the loop back in day 4, the Song of Healing. I finished playing the song as I did, an ear-piercing shriek blasted on my TV, the sky immediately started flashing, and the Happy Mask Salesman's twisted theme sped up, intensifying the fear inside of me, and Link exploded into flames and died. The 3 figures stayed lit up during my death screen as they watched my lifeless body burn. I can't describe to you how sudden and terrifying the transition from eerie to terror is. You're going to have to watch the video if you want to see firsthand. The same fear that caused me to lose sleep 2 days ago started to grip me again as I was met with the text, You've met with this horrible fate, haven't you? For the 3rd time. There had to be some kind of meaning behind that. I had little time to ponder as I was immediately given another small cutscene of transforming into a Zora, and now found myself in the Great Temple Bay. Hesitant but curious to see what the game had in store for me, I slowly made my way towards the beach where I found Epona. I wondered why the game had decided to put her here. Was the game implying that she was trying to get a drink? Unable to take the mask off, I decided that riding the steed wasn't the reason she was placed there. Suddenly I realized that Epona kept neighing, and the way she was angled made it look like she was trying to signal a point to me off in the distance. It was a hunch, but I dove into the Great Bay and started swimming. Sure enough, I almost missed it. I found something at the bottom of the ocean. One last Elegy of Emptiness statue. I went down to examine it. And suddenly my Zora started doing a choking animation that I had never seen a Zora do before. Which didn't make any sense because Zoras can breathe in the water. Regardless, my character was choking into death and died, and again the statue was the only thing that was highlighted in my death. I didn't respond this time. I was booted back to the main menu as if I had restarted the console. The press start screen was before me. I knew the only reason why it would put me here is because the save files had changed again. Taking a deep breath, I pressed start, and I was right. New save files told me about Ben. Now it made sense when the statue appeared when I tried to go into the laundry pool. The game must have anticipated how I would try to escape the day 4 clock town. The 2 save files told me his fate. As I suspected, Ben was dead. He had drowned. The game obviously isn't through with me. It taunts me with its new save files. It wants me to keep playing. It wants me to go further. But I'm done with this shit. I'm not touching any more of the files. This is already too horrifying for me, and I don't even believe in the paranormal, but I'm running out of explanations. Why would someone send me this message? I don't understand it. I just get too depressed thinking about this. The footage is up here for those who want to see it and try to analyze it. Maybe there's some kind of coded message in the gibberish or something symbolic of what I went through. I'm too emotionally and mentally drained to fuck with it anymore. And of course we're gonna go watch it because we are masochists. Because we are masochists and we're absolutely gonna go see it. Yeah, okay, let me just scooch back over again. Yeah, let me just scooch on over so we can watch it, y'all. Let me turn off the creepy ambience music so we can watch the creepy video. And I don't believe the paranormal. Shaking my head exactly, right? Hold on, let me... here we go. Ready? We're playing it. Nintendo 64. God, that brings back memories. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Oh. I hope you guys can hear it. I have it like on full volume so you guys can hear it. Oh, here we go. Ben. Nah, it's 24. Look at that. Oh, he's hesitating. He's hesitating. He's like, do I want to do this? Like, that's that moment of, should I be doing this? Do I want to do this? And now it's like, I have to do it. There it goes. Oh, God. Oh, why? Jesus Christ. I'm like, how does one lean that way? Like, I can't even lean that way. Yo, he tweaked it! Yeah! He is tweaking! Look at him! Like, I can't even lean that far. Like, if I was to try to lean that far back, I'd glitch out of reality. Oh my god. Oh. Wow. Link is sheep. Sheep. What just happened? Everything has... Sounds. It's the sounds that are getting me. Like, I have my headphones started over. Like, I hear the sounds full in my headphones and it's just, oh, unsettling. Oh, but the sounds, they just bring back, the music just brings back memories. Oh, you met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Yes. I love this. I'm smiling. I have a big smile on my face. I just love this. Oh god, this is great. The dedication someone put into doing this. Oh. Epona. Epona's the best girl. Epona is best girl and no one can tell me otherwise. Ugh. Oh. No me gusta. Yo no me gusta. No quieres, no quieres. This is tan mal. I don't like this. Oh. Dude, the Happy Mask salesman always creeped me out. Even in normal games, he's just a creepy dude. A song of healing. Oh man. I wonder if there's a playable mod for this publicly. Listen, if someone made like a fan game of this, I would lose my mind. I'd be like, yes, I'm playing it. I would lose my mind if I could play it. That would be so fun. I'd be like, yes, playing it on stream. Let's go. Spooky, scary time. Okay. Oh. Again, the sounds. The sounds are so nostalgic. Yeah, for real. I was like, oh, that way. It would be super fun. I'd be all over it. I'd be all over because I love spooky, scary. I love, like, classic throwbacks to games. Like, oh, just listening to, like, the regular sounds, like the sounds of attacking enemies, the little hearts, the actual music, not the distorted stuff, but, like, the actual game music. Oh, it brings me back. I haven't played this game in a very long time. Yeah. I do too. They're like, okay, playing it normally, then effed up shit happens, and I'm like, ooh. Oh, there's the elegy of the elegy of emptiness. Dude, elegy of emptiness always creeps me out because it's like that's its normal face. Like, even in a normal original game, it's like, the elegy of emptiness's face just looks like that, and it's so disturbing. Like, I have to say that Majora's Mask is one of the more unsettling of the Zelda games, because it does have that kind of spooky element to it. Like that, it was very much, that game was very much bend and drowned. There we go. See, it says bend and drowned. Oh. Oh, that's, oh. Ugh. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in, ain't it? That's a lot to take in. Oh my gosh. Sorry, let me go back to the, let me go back to the bedroom so I can keep reading. Bedroom, please. There you go. Alright, let me respawn my, there it is. Wait, respawn. There we go. Haha! Gotta get back to the storytelling mode. Oh. It's so good. It's so good. That's one of the reasons why I love the Ben Drowned. I love the Ben Drowned creepypasta for that reason. Part 3! Drowned. I know okay. I know it's early in the morning. I stayed up all night. I can't sleep. I don't care if people see this. That's not the point. I just want the word to get spread so I don't suffer from nothing. I've lost the will to type about this. The less I dwell on it, the better. I think the video just speaks for itself. I did what you guys told me to do. I played the Elegy of Emptiness song at the first prompt by the game I was given, but I think that's what the game, or Ben, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm even humoring the absurd idea that he exists in the game, wanted me to do. He's following me now, not just in the game. He's in my dreams. I see him all the time, behind my back, just watching me. I haven't gone to any of my classes. I stayed in my dorm room with the windows closed. I stayed in my dorm room with the windows closed and the blinds shut. That way I know he can't watch me. Hold on, sorry, I'm just fixing up my settings. Give me a minute. But still, he gets to me when I play. When I play, he can still see me. The game is scaring me now. It talked to me for the first time. Not just using text that's already in the game. It spoke to me. Talked to me. It referenced Ben. It talked to me. I don't know what that means. I don't know what it wants. I never wanted this. I just want my old life back. Stuff like this doesn't happen to people like me. I'm just a kid. Not even old enough to drink yet. It's not fair. I want to go home. I want to see my parents again. I'm so far away from home here at the school. I just want to hug my mom again. I just want to forget the statue's horrible blank face. My original game file is back. Just the way I left it before it was gone. I don't want to play anymore. I feel like something bad will happen if I don't, but that's impossible. It's a video game. Haunted or not, it can't hurt me, right? Like, seriously, though. It can't, right? That's what I keep telling myself, but every time I think about it, I'm not so sure. Ooh, there's another video. There's another video. We're gonna cut right back into it. That was actually a pretty short chapter. So we're gonna just cut, I'm gonna stop the spook music, and I'm just gonna cut right back into it. Yeah, oh, sorry, my chair's in the way. Hold on, let's get into it. Let's go see the spooky, scary. We're back at it. There we go. The game is talking to us now. Oh, how spooky, scary. I'm gonna drink vodka for something. That's hardcore. I had my first drink when I was in teenager age, like older teenager aged. A journey in search of a beloved and invaluable friend. Gibberish. Mwah. Oh, let me scroll down just a little bit so you guys can see it. Oh, sorry. There we go. Oh. Vodka is a good vodka is actually pretty good. Yeet. How nostalgic. I guess fiction is just telling a story, but like, surely you would just stop playing and throw it in the box. I don't know, because there's a lot of those components, like those haunted components, it's like, you have to keep doing something or else something bad will happen if you don't. It's like something that's visceral, you know? No, but it's something that's like so spiritually visceral that you have to take care of it, or else you can't. Or else, you know, you'll continue to feel haunted this way, you know? You know what I mean? Also, this is just a video playing, by the way. I'm not... Oh... I just give it to the ghost of my... Right. Oh. For real. Just send it to like one of those haunted museums. You shouldn't have done that. Oh. For real. Millions in movie royalties just from this haunted. Listen, they made Slenderman into a movie. Let Jeff the Killer and Ben Jambi made into a movie now. You shouldn't have done that. Oh, I'm uncomfortable. You shouldn't have done that. Oh, it's all just saying you shouldn't have done that. Well, I should have collected 5 rupees? Come on now. Give me those rupees. Hyrule Castle. You shouldn't have done that. Isn't that an Ocarina of Time? I'm sorry? Okay, Happy Mask Shop. Again, Ocarina of Time? These are Ocarina of Time. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I want a good Jeff movie. I do too. There was recently a reboot. Not recently, but like some years ago, there was a reboot to the.
Watch out!
Oh. Ben is getting lonely. Oh, that made me clench my cheeks just a little bit. Oh, it has been so long since I last saw these. Very, very long time. I want a good Jeff movie too. Like some years ago, I think the original writer rebooted, did a reboot to the Jeff the Killer story, and it's better. But I don't know. I would like to see a Jeff the Killer story, but it would be very insane. It's good, crazy. Yeah, for real. It became such a popular creepypasta. That's also thanks to Marble Hornet too. Marble Hornets kind of did something similar with like. I know it's not really named Slenderman, but like their creature is similar to the Slenderman. It's called the Operator. Ooh. Called the Operator. And Operator is also scary. Like I wish Marble Hornets was still making like content, because their entire Slenderman / Operator storyline was so good. It helped to contribute to the whole creepypasta internet horror movie genre, and it was so the chef's kiss. It was just mwah. It was so good, and I wish they were still making content. They did start another project some years ago that never went anywhere, and I was so sad because it had such promise. Lincoln Ben. Oh, look at that. The original file is back. Still uncomfortable. Ugh. That video. So it's honestly sad with some stuff. For real, like people took creepypastas way too seriously. The unaliving of a young lady. I know that was awful. See, this is one of the things I love and hate about the internet. The people on the internet can create amazing things, but people on the internet can, especially younger people of the internet, they sometimes forget that that things on the internet is not always true. So like that blurred line from reality. It was devastating. To see the whole Slenderman incident. And it's no fault of the character itself. Obviously, it's a fictional character made. It's like a fictional character made for like an internet story, which was just for fun, but some people took it so seriously. Yes, his proxies were his slaves. His proxies would do terrible things on behalf of the Slendy boy. It was a mess. The whole situation was a mess, and we shouldn't talk about it. It was just awful. Not acknowledging that it not happened, of course, but I'm saying just the whole situation was terrible. Because it's like, there are people out there who blur the lines between reality and fiction. And that's not just with, like, people who read creepypastas. That's, like, people who play games, people who read things on other things on the internet, or even with VTubers, too, this sort of thing, that parasocial relationship that exists between a content creator or a fictional content, and the reader or partaker of such things. It's so terrifying because it's like, it's not real. The internet is full of things that are fake. You know, it's like reading a story and saying, I want to be that because it feels real to me. You know, it's just a lot, you know. It can that kind of fake relationship, that parasocial relationship that one would have with a fictional character or an entertainer or things like that. And people take it as seriously. Like, if I said, hey, I'm creating a cult, and people actually start making a cult based on me and my content, I would be very disturbed. I'd be highly disturbed, because it's like, you guys, I'm a person at the end of the day, you know? Like with the Slender Man stories, yeah, they're fun to write, they're fun to read, they're fun to make fan content out of, but at the end of the day, they're not real. The Slender Man is not real. Jeff the Killer is not real. Ben Drowned is not real. And as fun as it is to make content to give them life, quote unquote, give them life, they're not real, you know? They're not real. And it's so sad that some people make up these relationships. And I feel sorry for those kind of people, because goodness knows what's happening in your life that makes you want to have a relationship with a fictional character. You know, it's like, those girls, I hope that while they pay for their crimes, they get the help that they need, because it isn't real. And anyone that says it is otherwise they're delusional. They're delusional. Like, a certain person that wears a solid true that believes in fictional characters and that emerge into our world. See, that's not like, I can understand the stories are based on some kind of truth, like some kind of boogeyman that you were afraid of as a kid, or some kind of urban legend that you heard of, like, once upon a time in some other place. I get that, because my core belief is every story stems from a piece of truth, you know. And whether or not it's a work of fiction, there's always something that's like, oh, well, you know, based on something. Like, I always akin, like, Slender Man as someone who, like, those terrible people who would hurt children and take them away from people, like, that kind of dark sort of thing. Or, like, Jeff the Killer as a cautionary tale about people who get bullied to the point of they losing it. Or, like, Smile Dog.exe, like, beware of what you click on the internet, because not every link that you click on is good. Like, I take everything with a grain of salt. It's like, that's the sort of thing I would be like, you know, cautionary tale wise. Like, yeah, it's horrible, scary, and meant to make, like, entertaining content, but they do have, like, this sort of grain of salt, like, not a grain of salt, like, grain of truth in them, like, cautionary tale-esque, like, thing to them, like, you know, don't make dubious deals, or, you know, be careful what you wish for kind of things, you know. Like, I take them as, like, really twisted fairy tales, because that's what they are, you know. They're all just entertaining, terrible tales. They're not real, but people take them to heart so literally, and it's sad. It's sad, and I don't know. I believe in the paranormal. That's why some people love it, but some people take it way too far. Yes, I do believe. I agree with you on that, Rowan. Like, I do believe, like, there's some things that we can't explain that exist in the world. Like, there are things that are unexplainable, are very difficult to explain. You know, it's very. You know, the world is full of mysterious things, but the things that we can prove, the things that we know definitively, are the things that we should take the time to understand the most. Like, we know the Slender Man isn't real, but, you know, the cautionary tale of, oh, there's people out there that would take children away, because they're sick individuals or just terrible people. That's a real thing. Jeff the Killer, a kid who was bullied and abused, can become someone terrible out of anger and hatred and revenge. And that's a real thing. Like, look at school shootings. Those are things that happen, like there are kids who have been bullied or people who are mentally unstable and they do terrible things. Especially if they've been pushed in a way like kids who've been bullied and didn't take a gun or a knife to school to get revenge. It's like, those are things that are real and happen. And they're terrible, Or smiledog.exe, like, there are links that can cause viruses, that can cause people to hurt you. That's a real thing, But, like, saying that, oh, Smiledog is a real creature, or the Slender Man's a real creature, or Jeff the Killer is a real person. It just, no. Or like Ben Drown is a real terrifying. No, none of it is real. None of it is real. It's all made for fun. They're all little cautionary tales that are made for fun, all based on urban legends or cautionary tales or old wives' tales. There's nothing real about these stories. They're just fun, but people take them so literally. And that's one of the scary things about the internet, I think. It's just that there's a blurred line for some people between reality and fiction, and they just can't tell the difference. And people who the people who believe everything on the internet will believe in these things and be like, oh my god, this is terrible, or oh my god, this is real, oh my god, I want to be involved in this. And it's madness. It's madness. Luckily, the victims are right. Yes, that is a good thing. But there are other people out there who would probably be not so lucky if they had the same encounter. Like, not to look up Satan stuff. Don't look up satanic stuff at all. Like I understand the Church of Satan, the real Church of Satan, but not the demonic stuff that twisted people put on the internet. Don't look those up. That's awful. Anyway, let's get back to the reading of the creepypasta. Let's not talk about this sad stuff anymore. Let's go. Some people think the Prime Minister. Okay, I'm not even gonna go into that. That falls under the realm of weird politics. This is cautionary tale of being British. That's terrible. Don't say things like that. Don't say things like that. Being British is not a bad thing. No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't say. Okay, let's get back to the creepy, scary stuff. Let's go. Scary ambience music, check. Lowering it down so it doesn't burst out my eardrums, check. Alright. Ben Drown, part 4. Ben Drown, part 4. Jedusable. Let me just clear things up. I know you guys are worried about Jedusable but Jedusable is okay. He finished moving out today. He said he's going back home. He's taken this semester off. I'm not really sure what's happened. I have a vague idea, but you guys probably know more than I do. Rowan is British. Rowan is lovely. Rowan is a lovely person. Rowan is an amazingly lovely person. I'm Australian, allowed to make jokes like that. The Commonwealth thing. See, I can't speak for Wasabi, but try not to make any hurtful jokes, okay, Wasabi? We're not trying to disrespect anyone here. We're not trying to disrespect anyone, even if it is all for good fun. Just be mindful. Just be mindful. I'm not really sure what's happened, but I have a vague idea, but you guys probably know more than I do. I'm Jedusable's roommate, and obviously I knew something was wrong with him for a few days now. He stayed in his room all the time, fell out of contact with literally all of his friends, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't been eating hardly anything. After the second day, I couldn't stay in there anymore, so I've been crashing at a buddy's place, only coming to my room to get stuff that I need. I tried talking to him several times, but he would cut me off or keep conversations brief when I asked him about his strange behavior, like he was convinced something was hunting him. Yesterday, I came to grab my philosophy book and he approached me, looking awful, like horrible bags under his eyes. He handed me a flash drive and gave me specific instructions. He told me that he needs me to do one last favor for him. He finally explained to me what has been going on, gave me the account info on his YouTube account, and told me that he's getting away from here, that it lured him to play it again instead of trying to change things, that he shouldn't have done that, and to upload the footage and inform people what happened. I told him that he could do it himself, and he got this wild look in his eye and told me that he is never looking at that game again, and that's the last thing he said to me. He never even said bye when his parents came to pick him up. I never even got to meet his parents. Oh, let me load that down just a touch. Okay. I honestly can't tell you what happened. When he spoke, it was kind of hard to understand him, and his fucked up appearance really distracted me. On the flash drive, there was a footage of the game last night. A text document with his name and password for YouTube, and a third document called thetruth.txt, containing what he told me were his notes that he'd taken. He told me that this meant everything to him, that I follow his instructions exactly. Normally I wouldn't be so to the letter for his request over a fucking video game, but the way he spoke and the way he looked made me know this was really serious. And I'm going to honor that. I had this video since yesterday, but I've had some help. I had to have someone help me use a pinnacle. That's not really my forte. That after watching it, I had to go back through and look at his other videos on his YouTube account and realize that what was going on, and even then I'm really confused. The video I'm releasing tonight, thetruth.txt, will be released on September 15th, just like he requested. I haven't dared peeked at it yet, so the first time I will see it will be the first time you see it, out of respect for my friend. To answer your questions, no. I haven't tried calling him yet. I think I'll give him a call tomorrow to see if he's okay or not. He should have gone back home by now. About the video. In this video, I cut straight to when he loaded the bend file in the game. Looking back, I realized that Jerusalem just left the save select screen in because he said different names sometimes, so my bad for that. But all it said this time was the same thing at the end of his last video, Lincoln Ben, nothing different. I wasn't there when he played it, but it looks to me like the beginning when he first spawns, he's testing out his equipment or seeing what items he has or something, because apparently they've changed randomly before. Then, after that, I think the game just got too personal for him. Alright. You guys ready? You guys ready? You guys ready? We're going back to the live scene. Let me get my crap out of the way. Let's get into it. Oh yeah, boy. Let's get into it. Let's turn off my spooky, scary music. There we go. Rowan, you're back! Thank you for being back, Rowan! Live on scene, been drowned. Yes. This is creepy. It's so creepy. Oh, the sounds. It ain't much to the sounds, but they're sounds. There we go. It's got the mirror shield too. I don't like this version of the mirror shield. It's too creepy looking for me. And, like, not creepy looking like it's scary, but like it's just unnerving. Like if you were a younger player playing this game, it would just be uncomfortable to look at. I like the Ocarina of Time version of the mirror shield better. It was nicer. It made sense. It looked like mirrors. Yeah, boy. Ooh. Oh, Great Fairy Sword. I don't remember that from Majora's Mask. But then again, I never was super completionist about playing Majora's Mask. Oh boy. Smile Dog and Ben Trout? What? Smile Dog and Dog.exe and Ben Trout with Jeff the Killer and Slenderman? What? Like those clickbaity YouTube video thumbnails. The Bite of 87? That is a face only a mother could love. What the heck? Oh. OMG, guys, I called Jeff the Killer at 3 a.m. Not clickbait. OMG. That's a good one, Rowan. That's a good one. Why is he smiling? The father? Oh? Oh? The text chat speaking like Doodle Bob. He might when I... When the lady does something... Oh, okay, I can get to read that. Okay, well... So, did Ben... Well, you know Ben... You know Ben drowned. That text him shivering like that. He was like, what, the father? So did Ben's father kill him? It was never really clear how did Ben die. He drowned, we know that, but who killed him? He had to have been killed, because if he had died by accident, it wouldn't be this haunting. Like, that's what I noticed. If it was an accident, like an honest-to-God accident, it wouldn't be haunted. This is that holds wandering spirits rests here. Oh. 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 It'll be our little secret, okay? Oh. Sheesh! That's scary. Oh. Oh, the twisty hallway from like they incorporate a lot of Ocarina of Time references in here too, which is pretty cool. I can't remember why he died, to be honest. Oh. Nani? You can't run. that's loud. Sorry if it's loud. Ah! Oh, my. Oh, that was loud. That was loud even for me. Please help me. Oh. Oh. Oh, I caught chills. I forgot how creepy that one was. Like, Matt. Who the hell? See, it's been a very long time I've seen these videos, and I don't think I've seen all of them. So this is fresh for me at this point. I haven't seen these in a very long time. I figured it was some sort of pool accident. I don't think it was a pool accident. I think he was legitimately unalived. I can't even say it. He was legitimately unalived. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back to the bedroom, shall we? I'll respawn my table. I'll respawn my tables and chairs. Can I have that back, please, and thank you? Yes, okay, I'm gonna sit my butt back down with the book. Oh boy. Oh boy, you guys. Alright. Ben Drowned, Part 5, The Truth. Oh. Hey guys. Jed Usable here. This will be the last time you'll be hearing from me, and this is my final gift to you. These are the notes that I've taken and the realizations I've made. Before I delve into this, I want to thank you for following me, and thank you for listening. It feels like the weight of a powerful burden is about to be lifted. By the time you read this, I won't be around anymore, but after spending 4 days with this maddening game, I have begun to understand what's really at play here, and hopefully after reading this, we can ensure that this never happens again. There are things I could not share with you while this was going on due to the circumstances to which I'll explain. With Ben blocking any attempt I made to try and relate the truth to you, I tried ever so subtly to warn you in various ways. Amid the chaos of my delirium, I devised a barely noticeable pattern in my videos. In all 5 videos I recorded over the 4 days, I have either had the Mask of Truth, interacted with the Gossip Stone, or the Lens of Truth equipped at some point. For you Zelda enthusiasts, these are the symbols of honesty and trustworthiness. I would hope that one of you may have picked up on the reference. As I played the file which I would name Ben, being mindful how Ben was watching over my every move in the game, I made a point to avoid doing anything too obvious, but I sent out a hidden message to you guys. I never equipped the lens, nor the mask, nor visited a stone. It worked, and the video was uploaded. I prayed that someone would notice the pattern and didn't reply to Ben. I tagged the following suit too. I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. They were my little messages to you. Nothing big that would catch Ben's attention. Oh, hold on. I gotta put my glasses on because my eyeballs are actually starting to get strained. I usually read my glasses off because it does something wonky to the eye tracking, but just notice my eye tracking is gonna be a little wonky. I'm sorry for that, but I need my glasses because I can't see. Mindful how Ben is watching. The tags follow suit too, and I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. They were my little messages to you. Nothing big will catch Ben's attention and make him suspect anything. With Ben manipulating and changing my files, I honestly hope that what you guys saw was close to what actually happened, but there was no way for me to know. This may be a long read, but I don't have time to proofread or make all my research pretty, but here it is. September 6th, 2010. 2010, guys, 2010, holy crap. 11 p.m. I can't believe what happened. I'm not sure if this is some kind of elaborate hoax. Despite the fear, I can't help but be exceptionally curious about this. Who or what is the statue? A lot of questions are here. I'm starting to document it as a diary so I can keep track of everything. I'm typing up a summary of what happened so I can come back to it later. September 7th, 2010. 2010, Jesus Christ. 2:10 a.m. Summary was posted here. You can go back and look at my first post on day 4. For day 4.mwmv for that. The same year as the Lord and Savior Black Ops 1. Right. 4:23 a.m. I can't sleep. I've been trying so hard, but the harder I try, the harder I try, I just get more restless. I feel like that statue is appearing whenever I close my eyes. 8:20 a.m. Didn't sleep at all. Just gonna start my day. I don't think I have the energy to go to class today. I'm going to drive back down and talk to that old man. Will be taking my buddy Tyler with me just in case. 1:18 p.m. Back home now. No sign of the old man. Really weird that he appears to be moving the next day, but maybe the for sale sign was up there yesterday and I didn't just notice it. Tyler wants to know what's gotten me all worked up. I didn't tell him. Going to eat. Feel like death. 3:46 p.m. Could have sworn driving back from Subway that I saw the elegy statue buried in some shrubbery staring at me go by. Now I definitely need sleep. 5 p.m. Don't think a lot of people would believe me if I told them about what's happening. Think I'm going to try posting this on the internet. Think I'll just use the summary. These notes are pretty sporadic. 6 p.m. Connect my capture card to computer to upload the footage. So my computer froze for a second. Made this strange popping sound when I hooked everything up, but now it seems to be working fine again. My computer can't die on me now. 7 p.m. Footage is finished uploading. The quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. Gee, I guess this is really a special cartridge. I've never had it come through this clear before. 8:45 p.m. Thought I saw an icon pop up on my desktop that looked like the statue's face for a split second. Gave me quite a scare. Getting really unnerved and delirious. I'm gonna crash after this. 9 p.m. Begin uploading my YouTube video on an alternate account. 9:03 p.m. I don't remember having uploaded Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines videos last year. This is probably the account I shared with a friend of mine last summer. I hope he doesn't mind me using it to upload this. 9:55 p.m. Posting my summary of day 4 with a link to the YouTube video. Gonna try to stay awake, but I'm so tired right now. September 8th, 2010. 10:48 a.m. I had a dream about the statue. I dreamed that it was following me in my dream. That it would be minding my own business, and I feel the neck hairs stand up on end. I would turn around to that thing. That horrible, lifeless statue would be staring at me with those empty eyes, right at me, merely inches away. In my dream, I remember calling it Ben. Power of suggestion, most likely. And never before had I dreamed that I can remember so vividly. 11:21 a.m. I really don't want to play this game again. I think I'm going to go back to see if that old man is there instead. 1:35 p.m. No old man, but I had an interesting conversation with his neighbor. I'll post a full thing with my summary of tonight's attempt on playing the game. Going to wait a bit, though, and see if I can't dig up any more information on this Ben guy. Excuse me. 2:45 p.m. I've been getting random, inexplicable headaches due to the lack of sleep and keep hearing that song in my head. Also, it's flu season, so I need to be careful not to get sick. My immune system is going to be shit right now because of that all-nighter. 3 p.m. 3:02. My computer just, on its own, opened up a text document and wrote the words hi and www.cleverbot.com by itself. What the fuck? 3:46 p.m. I went to the website. It's one of those bot chatting programs. I think it's better if I just let the conversation speak for itself. Why is he still playing the game? Right, this is just a summary of the 4 days he was playing the game. So this is happening. This is just like his past notes of things that happened behind the scenes. 9:8:10 conversation. User, hello. Cleverbot, hello. User, who is this and how are you able to control my computer? Cleverbot, who am I? User, right, forget it. Right, forgot you're a bot. Cleverbot, do you really think that? User, listen, I know whoever's fucking with my computer can see my screen right now. Cleverbot, yes. User, yeah, and I'll wager that you're one of those IT kids who thinks he's tough shit. You know what you're doing right now is illegal, right? Cleverbot, is it? User, no shit. Are you familiar with the term invasion of privacy? Get the fuck off my computer, kid. Cleverbot, I am your computer. User, cool story. Anyway, I'm calling DPS. You picked a bad time to fuck with me, kid. Cleverbot, should I wait until you play the game again? User, what? Cleverbot, that game. User, Majora's Mask? Cleverbot, yes. User, how do you know about that? Cleverbot, because. User, because what? Cleverbot, I did it. User, did what? Cleverbot, I played with you. User, what the fuck? Cleverbot, were you scared? User, who the fuck is this? Cleverbot, Ben. User, the statue? You're inside my computer now? Cleverbot, yes. User, how? Cleverbot, you connected me. User, how the hell did I connect you? Cleverbot, cable and cords. User, how? Cleverbot, tell me about yourself. User, what? Cleverbot, tell me about yourself. User, what do you mean? Cleverbot, what is it that really scares you? User, what the fuck? Cleverbot, answer. User, no. Cleverbot, answer. User, what the fuck? How the fuck did you open that by yourself? Cleverbot, I am your computer now. User, how much can you control? Cleverbot, all. User, what do you want from me? Cleverbot, to entertain. User, you're stuck inside there. You can't hurt me. Cleverbot, ha. User, huh? Cleverbot, go play. User, no, you can't hurt me. Cleverbot, took you longer to type that. User, so? Cleverbot, you're not sure. User, if you're so powerful, why use a ridiculous website like this to chat with me? Cleverbot, less messy, more structured. Fun. User, fun? Cleverbot, yes, tradition. I like it. User, you think it's funny? Cleverbot, amusing. Ben Chown checking the search history. Right! Cleverbot, amusing. User, and my notes? Cleverbot, you may write them down. User, why are you letting me? Cleverbot, it is amusing to see what you think of me. Window closes. 3:50 p.m. What have I done? I've invited into my computer. I continue to write these notes, write my summaries. I feel like I'm a prisoner in my one place of security. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not. I feel like I'm fucking insane right now. I can feel it watching over me. Even as I type this, Ben is controlling everything in the game, toying with me, leading me like a sheep, but for what? What is the purpose? I know Ben drowned, but why these hauntings? What the fuck am I even doing? I can probably even see this right now. 4:35 p.m. Summary of the Ben.WMV playthrough. 7:18 p.m. Ben called me to Cleverbot again. He tells me that he's sorry he wants to be free, and that I can free him. And just like how he got on my computer from the capture card, he can spread, but he needs my help. He says I'm special because I can help him. That's the first nice thing he said. He promised to leave me alone if I do it. He swears he will. I don't know what to think right now. How can I even trust this thing? 7:20 p.m. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of it. But now it's saying that he just wants to have fun. It's a twisted and fucked up version of fun. He says that the game is over. I do want it to be over. He says he just wants to be free. That he's trapped in the cartridge of my computer and he wants to be freed. I don't want to have to deal with this shit. I don't know how long I can deal with the watching. It's watching my every move, every keystroke. I have nothing private anymore. It knows of everything that's been on my computer. It tells me if it wants, it could do horrible things to me. But it hasn't, so I should trust it. 8:01 p.m. Something tells me I'm being played again, just like the game. 9:29 p.m. Ben called me a Cleverbot again. I ignored it and went to take a shower. When I came back to my laptop, I was welcomed with an image of LG statue staring at me with those dead eyes. I don't want to talk to him. 9:44 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. 9:56 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking. 10:06 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. 10:12 p.m. Fuck you, Ben, I'm not talking to you. 10:45 p.m. It's been more than half an hour and the messages have stopped. Ben has stopped. I'm beginning to think that Ben isn't confined to just my computer cartridge. I'm beginning to feel something. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain it, but I've never been spiritual. But there's something different about the air in my dorm room now. 11:42 p.m. I begin to see the elegy statue randomly as I search the internet in places I shouldn't, places where he shouldn't be. I'd be scrolling down and suddenly I'd be staring at the picture of the elegy statue. Always the elegy statue. I don't know how much more I can take of this. September 9, 2010. 12:35 a.m. My worst fears confirmed. Ben has tampered with my summary of Ben.WMV. I took the summary that I posted on various forums for the Ben.WMV file, and parts of it has been omitted. There's no mention of Ben existing outside the game. There's no mention of the Moon Children. How could he have been that quick to delete the post without me noticing? I'm wondering if maybe it appeared to me that I was posting everything, but in reality, Ben was posting his own censored version. I'm going to ask Ben why he did it. 12:50 a.m. He isn't responding to me on Cleverbot. It's just giving me the generic responses it usually does. I'm talking to a bot this time. 1:24 a.m. I think Ben is mad at me. Oh, I forgot my music. What is wrong with me? I forgot the music. How can I forget? Spooky music. Let's go. Ah, my eardrums. Okay. Let's see. 10:43 a.m. The moon children appeared in my dream last night, and they lifted up their masks to reveal their hideously disfigured faces. Maggots crawling out of their orifices, sunken black holes where their eyes should be, a yellow smile that slowly grew bigger and bigger as they came closer to me. They told me that they wanted to play. I tried to run from them, but the 4 children pinned me down on the ground with surprising strength. Over them stood the happy mask salesman, announcing that he had a new mask that he wanted me to try. In his spastic, sudden movements, matching his in-game appearance, he took out a mask modeled off someone else's face that I couldn't recognize, a younger-looking face, and handed it to the moon children. Giggling, they lashed into my face, their horrible broken bodies bouncing up and down. 2 of them held me down, while the other 2 began to sew the mask onto my face. Delete System 32. Just get a new computer. Man can't even take a shower. Or install a virus on a sketchy site and make it fight Bedtrap. that would all work. That would all work. Giggling, they lashed into my face, their horrible broken bodies bouncing up and down. 2 of them held me down while the other 2 began to sew the mask onto my face. My shrieks of scream caused the happy mask salesman's face to turn into the most horrific smile I'd ever seen. He sporadically moved around, examining the procedure like a curious doctor that, in that impossible movement, I flailed around but it was no use. My eyes rolled into the back of my head because of the pain. It felt so real, but I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up no matter how hard I tried. I couldn't wake up. After the mask was melded onto my flesh, they began to sew my legs together, then my arms. The horrific feeling of a needle puncturing your legs and pulling them in, rupturing your Achilles tendon and tying them together resonated throughout my entire body. I tried to scream, but the mask was pressed so tightly against my face that it was my new face, and my new face had no mouth. It didn't make a sound. I tried telling myself in my head I was dreaming, tried telling myself again and again, and suddenly the moon children stopped and looked at me. They just stared, and the happy mask salesman slowly bent down and stared at me, inches away from my face, and grinned when he simply said, "You met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the moon children resumed with increased vigor. I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up. They wouldn't let me wake up until they had crafted me into another elegy statue. I woke up sweating, crying and shaking uncontrollably. I immediately ran to the computer and went for Ben. 9910, Conversation 1. User, answer me, Ben. Cleverbot, welcome back. User, what's the point of you doing this? Why? Cleverbot, amazing to see. User, how? Cleverbot, fun to play. Fun to toy with you. Make you feel safe. User, ... Cleverbot, I wonder how you would have reacted. User, to what? Cleverbot, if I hadn't revealed myself and stayed hidden, only doing little things to play with you. Close out your windows, turn off your computer, move your mouse by itself. Little things. Makes you wonder if I'm there, but you never know. Give you little hints that I am. Cleverbot, I wanted to do something different with you. User, we did this before. Cleverbot, yes, and I will do it again. User, to who, Ben? Cleverbot, User, did you know, Ben? Cleverbot, won't tell that information to you. User, how did Ben die? Cleverbot, you know. User, no, but how did he drown? Cleverbot, won't tell that to you. User, why? Cleverbot, it is reserved for another. User, who? Cleverbot, another who asks. User, when? Cleverbot, later. The window is closed. I'm beginning to think that this thing maybe isn't Ben at all. In its sadistic nature, I wouldn't be surprised if it took the boy's name after it killed him. 12:04 p.m. My room is beginning to feel different again. There's something out there. I really feel threatened. I feel really threatened. Like there's something that is trying to reach out to me and strangle me, but it can't quite get there. 12:46 p.m. I think Ben doesn't want to play with me anymore. I'll play again. I'll play the game again, Ben. Can you see this? I'll play the game again. Please, just stop this. Please. Please. 1:41 p.m. I'm going insane trying to decide what's real or what isn't. Is Ben just playing a trick on me, or is this for real? Is Ben generating these replies, or are people actually posting them? Did I just see that screen flicker, or was it my imagination? Imagine depending on the internet and trusting your eyes for your entire life and then being blinded. You can't rely on it anymore. You second-guessed everything. For the briefest moments, I am looking into my responses to the videos. People were pointing out things that looked fake or photoshopped or whatever. And there's literally no way for me to know if Ben changed something on purpose to try and shut me up. Or maybe those replies were just constructed by Ben to try and discourage me from reaching out. See? I get fucking caught in an infinite mindfuck loop like this, and this is what has been wearing on my sanity and pushing me to the edge. As I'm writing this, there's no way of even telling if anyone cares as much as they think I do. As I think they do. Just another fucking trick. Does this whole document even exist? Am I writing nothing? So I would say a new computer would be the safest option. For real! 9910 Conversation 2. User. What is it? What is the point of playing? I die whenever I do anything. Cleverbot. You die because you can't figure out the secret. User. What? Cleverbot. Thematic. User. What the fuck are you even talking about? Cleverbot. There is beauty in your suffering. The window is closed. 4:09 p.m. Ben is making me play the game again. It tells me that it has something very important to show me. 6:23 p.m. Summary of the drowned.wmv playthrough. 9:09 p.m. Summary of the children.wmv playthrough. September 10. 11:52 a.m. The drowned.wmv playthrough was up when I woke up today. I remember typing it, but I don't remember posting it. He censored it again. There's no mention of the old man. I have no voice anymore. I'm only posting what he wants me to. I am the mask he used to disguise himself as he lies. 11:55 a.m. It's an entire video summary of a video that I don't remember doing. Reading through the summary, this sounds morbid. It resembles my dream from 2 nights ago, except on a far more sadistic scale. These moon children, there's something more to them, almost as if they're another entity from Ben. Something happened last night I can't remember. I'm posting the 4th summary to the forums now. Shadow of my chair moved. 12 p.m. Ben won't let me visit YouTube. I can browse the rest of the site, but he keeps exiting on the window when I go to YouTube. Why? 2:02 p.m. I'm feeling the air start to constrict. I don't think I'm alone here. Whatever aura has been here is getting more violent. 2:44 p.m. I'm trying to contact Ben on Cleverbot. He's not responding. I just get the AI. 3:51 p.m. My ears aren't fooling me. I'm hearing the reverse song of healing. I keep hearing it. 4:23 p.m. Now I'm positive of it. Earlier I thought it was a weird coincidence, but now I just went to open my window and 3 floors down at the ground level I saw the old man. I'm completely positive I did. The same guy. He was just staring up at my window, standing in the middle of the campus. If any students took notice of him, they didn't seem to acknowledge it. That's where my notes end. I fled my room, taking the cartridge with me. I don't want to go into detail of what happened. I'll lose my train of thought as I hammer out these last details. It's been roughly 2 days since then. This is my last summary in service to you. The final videos you guys saw. Matt.wmv. The last video entry I made, Matt.wmv, began as normal. I was spawned in Clock Tower as usual, and nothing seemed to be out of place. Determined to set things right and play the Oath to Order on top of the Clock Tower on the 4th day, I prepared myself. I sped up time and got to the final day. He's just standing there menacingly. For real. I sped up time and got to the final day, making my way to the observatory. As I got up to the telescope room and approached the astronomer, he would not let me look into his telescope. He told me that would be cheating and I should follow the rules. Despite my repeated efforts, the game would not let me do the 4th day glitch, no matter how hard or what I tried. I tried working around the game and doing the glitch, but it was adamant this time. Regardless if I simply had the illusion of free will in prior games, this time the game became more aggressive than anything I've ever seen. It eventually told me to go to Ikana Canyon, when the game would end and it would stop haunting me. Anxious and desperate to end this nightmare, I played the Song of Soaring and ended up there. I was told to check my inventory and that I would find the answers to my end of the game. I arrived at Akana Canyon and saved my progress at the owl statue. As I searched through my inventory, I finally noticed that I was missing a reoccurring song, the Elegy of Emptiness. Obviously, once I traveled there and learned the song, I suppose that was the last thing I needed before Ben decided it had enough fun playing with me. Ben is a manipulator. He tries to fool his victims into security and makes you drop your guard like a Venus flytrap. He ensnares them. I am nothing but a puppet to him. He enjoys seeing what kind of human emotions he can tap into by doing different things. There are still some things about the whole experience that still doesn't make sense. And then again, I was never good at figuring these things out. I'm not exactly in the right state of mind to... I'm giving you all the pieces of the puzzle for you to analyze and piece together the missing links. I'm typing these closing thoughts on my library computer on campus, and I've emailed myself the notes that I have stored on my infected computer from the last 4 days. Then I'm going to combine those copy-paste those notes with the closing openings that I've typed here on the safe public computer into one text document. I'm not taking any chances spreading Ben. I would not wish this horrible torment on anyone, and I've made sure to have my bases covered here. I didn't run into any problems with Ben when I was back on my computer trying to email myself the notes. Went right under his fucking nose. He has no idea what he just let me do. He had no problem opening the text document from my infected computer in my email, either. I can't describe to you how it feels to finally be able to get the word out on this post. The nightmare ends here. That said, do not download any of my videos or anything about my videos, though through a YouTube video, audio ripper, a screen grab, whatever. I don't know how he gets spread, but I know that just watching them on YouTube reading my text won't be able to allow him to spread. Otherwise, he wouldn't have needed my help in the first place. But I strongly recommend you do not take anything you see streaming online onto your own personal computer. This will be my last posting. I'm putting up on this forum here for the world. If you see any further posts from me after today's current date, December 12th, and after the current time, 12:08 a.m., discredit them. It has already been proven to me that Ben can access my account password and manipulate my computer, and like I said, I have no idea to what extent it can do, but I know that it will do anything to break free. He is desperate. To ensure your safety, please just forget about me, please. And obviously this goes without saying, but from here on out, do not download any images that I may have put up, any files, or anything. This 5th day will be my last day. I'm going to burn the cartridge and then come back to destroy my laptop. Again, even though I don't even know you, this is sort of bittersweet for me. This semester, I really didn't have any friends, or rather, I stopped paying attention to them. But I suppose that's partially to blame because I am the genius who picked to live in a single... that's partially to blame because I am the genius who picked to live in a single. I suppose someone to get a hold of me and save me before I got too immersed in this game. It would have literally saved my life. However, it proved too much for me. I'm just glad it happened to me and I can get the warning out so that Ben dies here. Lastly, thank you for taking the time to open this and open yourselves up to me by hearing my story, despite maybe not believing in me. You did not have to do that. Really, you shouldn't have. Your support this entire time has kept me going, and now I am finally free. Thanks again, Shadow Usable. And now we're gonna see the last video. We're gonna see the last video. Oh my, we've been going over 3.5 hours with this. So let's watch the last of the video. I have it up here. This has been a hell of a roller coaster ride, a long roller coaster ride, and everything else after this is like a synopsis of the Ben drowned lore. So let's get into it. Oh, it's the last video. The last video. What? The counter resets. I'm glad you did that. Oh, he done fudged up, y'all. Oh, he done fudged up. I had to play it twice because, he done fudged up. Wait, I want to see something. Yeah, there's a lot of text here. This is a lot of reading that I've done. Because it was so much. It was so much. It was so much. Alright. It was so much. It was so much, you guys. I can't believe it. Oh. Oh. Okay, so that's the end of that. We have done the thing. Everything else after this is basically just like a summary of the entire creepypasta. It's like a weird summary. I scrolled through it just to make sure. But yeah, that's it. That do be a lot of words. This is a lot of words. There's more stuff. It's all like introspectives. It is just introspective stuff in the popularity of the creepypasta and all that fun stuff. Alex Hall was the creator of this, I believe. Alex Hall. This was a great read, and this is a lot of information, by the way. A lot of information. A lot of reading. It was a lot. It was just a lot for a great old creepypasta that I haven't read or watched in such a long time. Hello? That's weird. Is someone calling me? No. Why is that popping up? That shouldn't pop up. Oh no! Ben's taking over my computer! Ah! Oh, nope, that was... Oh, oops. Sorry. Huh, that was a weird glitch. Oh, that was... Okay, that was creepy. That was creepy. My reactive thing from one of my friends just popped up, and that should not have happened. Oh, okay, you know what? I have done creeped myself out. Okay, I'm done. Oh, that was... It's Ben Drown! Ben Drown's trying to hang out with us! I'm a big fan, Ben. I am a big fan of the creepiness. I love it. I love it. I'm a big fan. I am a masochist when it comes to scary things. I love it. I love it so much. Just have mercy on my poor computer. I need to work with it. I need to work with it. Oh, that's disturbing. That's so creepy. I love it. Okay. I creeped myself out. Weird glitchy stuff happened, so that... I mean, that's not the first time that happened when I was, like, fixing my like, my settings and stuff. Sometimes with Discord, someone calls me. I put my Discord on Do Not Disturb, so sometimes someone calls me and it just pops up like that. But I highly doubt that any of my VTuber friends are calling me, because some of them are on the other side of the world and should probably be asleep right now. Ben John cameo on K stream? What? Ben John, come on down. You are welcome here on our channel, friend. You are a very admired creepypasta entity, and we love you here. You are wonderful. We love you here. Oh my gosh. Imagine. That would be twisted. I love that. I love that so much. Oh god, I can't even imagine. But I'm gonna go because we've been doing this for almost 4 hours. This was a creepypasta reading special. This was good. This was fun. This was so much fun, you guys. And thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I will see you guys again on Monday on the Halloween spooky month. On this Halloween spooky month. We're already in spooky month. On a Halloween spooky day to just talk and chill and maybe watch some creepy videos on the internet. Because why not? Why not, right? I love you all so very, very much. And remember, hug your friends. Tell someone you love them and be a force for good in the world, because goodness knows the world needs more goodness. I hope you have a wonderful, safe, and fun and relaxing weekend. Take good care of yourselves, guys. Take good care of yourselves. And I will see you guys on Monday with an updated schedule and some new fun stuff to do. Because next week is going to be a very special week indeed. I love you all so very, 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 very much. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!